This is the Levels Network. I am Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason OG.
What's happening?
Round 16 is behind us. Origin 2 is in front of us. So let's get into it, mate. We're going to be getting down to Melbourne tomorrow, and we're excited to be attending Olympic Hotel.
The Olympic in Preston. Yep.
I'll be emceeing it. We've got Queensland represented by the one and only Greg Inglis. We've got New South represented by the Triple OG Willie Mason, and we're excited to get down there. We've got some yarns, don't we?
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. Like this is a new thing for us, a little event here. You're going to be hosting it, which I think we'll be doing a hell of a lot more this year and next year. Having Greg Inglis on is massive, mate. He's one of the biggest Origin players, greatest Origin players of all time. He's a very close friend of mine, and I give flowers to people who deserve it. I don't care. I don't sit and go, oh, I don't rate him. I rate him at the highest.
Yeah.
He's the greatest outside back to ever play the game. I'll say it now. And I'll put him against Mal. I'll put him against anyone in any era. He's going to fucking win that battle. Yeah. And he's a Melbourne Storm Hall of Famer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So he's got that crew down there.
He's a double Hall of Famer. He'd be a South Sydney Hall of Famer and a Melbourne Storm Hall of Famer.
Yep. He's going to get so many awards at the end of the day when it's all said and done.
If not, like, is he actually has he been inducted into those?
No, he hasn't yet. I think you got to give 5 years, and he'll go straight into every single thing. He'll be close. He's a close immortal.
I've had nothing to do with GI my entire career.
Really?
Nothing.
You love him.
Nothing.
He's one of us. He's one of us, mate. That's all I can say. If you know that, you know. He's one of us.
That's the highest compliment you can give someone. One of us, and hopefully he thinks I'm one of him.
Yeah, he does. He goes, "What's fucking Holzai?" I said, "He's one of us."
Okay, good.
No, it'll be good, man. So what time are we down there? So it's from 6 to 9?
We're going to kick off at 6 p.m. Dinner is at 6:30. The show is going to start at 7:30. So we're going to be getting there, mixing, mingling. Remember, you can still get tickets now. There are tickets available. Only a few left at $85. All the details will be in the bio. Lukey's going to chuck them in the bio. Or you can also go on the Instagram page of Olympic Hotel Preston, which you can find on our Instagram at Levels Network. Yeah. So we're excited to get down there.
See you tomorrow, Melbourne.
We've had, like you were saying, Mace, we've done a couple of these now. We're excited to do more of these moving forward as well. Heaps. So let's get it going. And it's a great way to start Origin 2, mate, because there's plenty to talk about. Got this one. This is one of the... We'll get to the YouTube replies and questions soon, but straight off the bat from ETPC, for the love of God, don't go mainstream with this podcast. They will censor the fuck out of this. I love the way Mason explains things. ETPC, don't worry.
Don't worry, mate.
We're here to stay. Levels Network. We're going to be doing this. And we've got great support from our partners, both the BSC and the Tab, who do not censor us. They let us do whatever we want. Within reason, we're respectful.
We're
respectful, and we love doing this. So we'll always have things going on in and around it, but Levels will be here to stay. And the way we build the show, and the way and the reason I always push people to subscribe to the show is because of our partners allow us to do that. So 26.1K on YouTube, plus 400 on YouTube this week, plus 600 on Instagram, plus 300 on TikTok. But Instagram, 39.9. Mace, let's get to 40K.
Right,
Come on.
Easy,
69.9K on TikTok. Let's get to 70. And as always, we thank everyone for leaving a review on Apple and Spotify for us. Let's get into our BSC Dog of the Week. Mace, but before we get that, I'm going to let you introduce your one because I love your one as well. We'll talk about it before we got on there. For some people that aren't aware how you get the BSC supplements, there are a couple of different avenues you can go down. A couple of the OGs might not be familiar with going online and buying stuff, or we don't have BSC stores. Where can you get the cans?
Yeah, well, I'm probably one of those guys who don't go online or anything like that. So if I'm in Coles, I just go roll down that little health lane and just pump in all the Body Science products because they're all there.
Yep.
Everywhere. So, I'm the same. I don't online shop. I don't do anything. I'm the sort of guy who goes into the Coles or wherever and then I'll just buy whatever I want.
So nice and easy. If you're going to go do your shop this week, a lot of people going on Mondays.
Pump it in
you go in there and to get your morning started, to get yourself in good habits, you got the BSC cans, get them into you.
Ooh, sharp.
Not only are we pumping them, but check out the New South Wales Blues. They're pumping them in camp as well, and it's going to get them to a victory.
And it kills the owner too, Greg, because he's a Queenslander and he's our major sponsor. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
You nearly got my dog of the week.
Thank you, Big O. In saying that, who was your actual dog of the week?
Yeah, well, this guy, everybody probably knows who it is. He's been out 3 ACLs, right? And that's just, everyone thought, that last one, it could be the end of his career, but he come back yesterday, Campbelltown Oval, and was outstanding. I think when I told you a couple of weeks ago, he said some real shit, right? Yeah. And it hit a few nerves with some players because he said some real shit.
He did, yeah.
He's a real man.
He caught a few out, didn't he?
Yeah, he caught a few out. Yeah. And I'm like, he come back yesterday, he looked like he hadn't missed a game. 14 for 212. You know what I mean? 5 tackle breaks, 8 tackles, 1 pick to the house at the end, which was unbelievable because they were coming back, Canberra.
They were.
And he iced it, right? I don't think they were going to win, but he iced it. Hand up in the air to the Campbelltown people.
They would have been getting nervous.
They would have been nervous. It wouldn't going like that, eh? But he just that dog mentality of week in, week out, you hear all these stories. Probably some great stories. If it wasn't Origin week, it'd be some great stories from Monday all the way through about his hardship and training and turning up every single day with an attitude like that. So that is a dog attitude, man. And congratulations, Adam Dewey. You're my dog of the week.
I love it. I'll give you some more context.
Give me some more context.
All right. So have you ever have you done your ACL before?
Yeah, once.
Once. So how hard was it to come back from one?
It's bad, yeah. It's hard. It's mentally hard.
Yeah.
Like I come back, it was I come back in 5 months and 3 weeks. It was that old patella one. They don't do that anymore. They get dead people's Achilles and all that sort of shit, and hamstrings. And it was mentally draining, right? But Freddie was really good with me.
Yep.
Like he sent me away from the actual playing facility, and all I did was swim.
Yes.
Swim every single morning for 3 months.
You and Shero?
Me and Shero, yeah. And he made me swim fucking Bondi to Bronte. It was the worst. Anyone who knows me knows I'm strong. My strong suit is not swimming, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
but you have to do whatever you got to do, right?
Yeah, I've prepped, and I did this Bondi to Bronte swim, right? Chero's a gun swimmer. He's a national swimmer. He's got a cast on his legs. He blows everyone out of the water. Yeah. I have to get jet skied over the break because I'm fucking 6 weeks post ACL. Yeah. Wow. No, more. 12 weeks. 12 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say that would have been pretty quick.
Yeah. About 10 to 12. Still fragile.
Yep.
I was fucking, get over the break. But then they bring the fucking thing. All these old blokes are they don't care.
The OGs.
I've never swum in the water before like that.
Yeah.
The OGs were just bang, elbow on the back of the head. So it's all about rhythm, right?
Yeah.
Lost my rhythm about 6 times underneath the water. Old blokes swimming over the top of me. It was fucking awful.
It's about drag once you get in, not necessarily going.
Yeah, and I'm swimming over Bondi around the corner, and I'm swimming over the shark nets, right? And I'm like, no. Shark net's all about 10 meters wide, and there's another 20 meters, and there's I'm like, I ain't gonna stop shit. So I'm just sitting there over going, oh my God, this is awful. Swim around, finally make it. I get out, right, and everyone's cheering me on and shit. And I nearly fainted. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long it took me, but it was fucking hard anyway.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I'm not a good swimmer, but I'm like, it was mentally really good for me. But I was like, get me the fuck out of here. Anyway, did it, and that's the last time I've done that race.
When you're standing on the beach looking out, it looks way easier than what it is when you're actually out in the ocean.
Yeah, that was bad.
I've done a couple of them.
It was an accomplishment. I look at that and go, I've done that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm never going to do it again.
And that's definitely an accomplishment. So you did that one ACL. You had a tough way back. I listened to the presser after, and I was listening to Benji. Apparently, Adam Dewey's been pestering him for 3 weeks, he said, to come back. He also, this is again, the dog mentality. This is what I love about it. He also wasn't in the team until the day before the game. Justin Olam pulled out with Justin Olam and Charlie Staines were late withdrawals.
Yeah,
so
right.
that adds to the victory as well. And he looked
sharp. He didn't look out of place at all.
You can tell they're a club with a lot of young guys who are trying to figure themselves out, and it's going to be it's not going to be quick. They've got some really good people. Yeah. I love that they've got Jerome Luai and Sunia Taruva rocking up next year. And I love even more that they extended Adam Dewey because you can tell he's the sort of guy that is, with everything that he's been through, it's like sometimes players don't realise how good they've got it until after their career. Dewey's been through that. Like he's would have gone through moments where he's like, "Am I going to play anymore?" So it's
not even am I going to play. You know you're going to play, but what sort of player is going to come back?
But I'd imagine there would have been a lot of people that said after the third ACL, "This is it."
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was thinking that after one ACL, you're like, what sort of player am I going to be? Like, and then it's just like, imagine having 3 at his age. I think he's like maybe 28.
Yeah,
something like that.
It feels like it. Yeah, he would be around mid to late 20s for sure. So. the
done.
Gratitude
anyway,
that he's got, and yeah, don't know him, but he just seems like a great fella from that.
Yeah, he does.
That Tiger Town documentary that I watch as well. It feels like he is the heart and soul, and will help this young Tigers team try to finish off the year strong and build for next year. My one is a player that you nearly picked next year, and then last week, and my BSC dog of the week, Keon Kaloa-Matangi, is the dog of the week. It was a low game, don't get me wrong, but this is accumulation of his form this year. And I felt like there's a couple of times where, similar to you last week, where he just got pipped from a couple of players from me on any given week. But the reason I want to bring it up as well is because he's getting noticed now for the last month of footy because South's winning games. He's been South's best all year. At the start of the year, when results weren't going their way, he was still putting up those numbers. And he's got even better moving to the middle, which I didn't. I think I was a little bit critical at the start of the year when he moved from the edge to the middle. But he could be a middle moving forward, mate.
He could be anything.
His numbers were 23 for 250, 20 kick return. I put that down there, mate, because I know you love that stat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because front rowers get stats, 70, 80 metres off kick returns, especially off kickoffs. But he's playing lock. He's not playing front row, Mace. So that's 20 kick return metres, 100 posts, 39 tackles with only one miss, and he had the little cherry on top and the match to seal the match at the end with a nice try.
What a game.
It's the effort at the end as well. The game was, 8-0 or whatever it was, and Manly were never going to come back. They couldn't score any points. They didn't have their halves there, or they didn't have their main half there, their first choice fullback, and we all know about what Origin round does to you. But to have that energy at the back end of a game where he didn't have to sprint effort to get to that ball, again, it just shows where he's at in his game. And I'll go back to, again, last year, Origin 3. I thought he was outstanding in that game as well. And he is a victim of...
He's a victim of
South's form.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he should be talked about more back in Origin contention.
He could easily be on the bench there.
Easily.
And even the not even thinking of putting his arm extended out, right? When you extend it out to get that ball, more susceptible to what? Pec tears, AC joints going bang. You see how many of those go up, and he didn't care. Seal the game. That's what he's thinking. I love that. Dog mentality.
Keon Kaloa-Matangi is a beast. I love him. All right, this is our first YouTube reply and this is more of a sliding doors moment, which, because you talked about...
Don't worry, I fucking remember.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go in this a little bit in depth with you because I heard Darren Lockyer talk about this on Kempy's podcast when he was a guest. So people forget that New South Wales was one dummy half pass away from winning 4 series in a row. And you'd know it better than anyone, mate. I'll never understand why Brett Hodgson threw such a long ball to the middle. Matt King was nowhere near catching it, and Lockyer scoops on it. 2006 series out of nowhere, therefore starting the dynasty. And I just want to add to this as well, because you're obviously a big part of all this. You know, you went through all that.
Yeah.
But I heard Darren Lockyer talk about how much pressure him and Petro Siva were under.
He only named Petro, but there was about 6 or 7 of those blokes that were over the age of 26, 27.
Yep. So we have this young core that come through that we all know of now. Like Cam Smith's coming through then, Jonathan Thurston's coming through them. But without the guidance of some of these OGs and vets, if they had lost that series, it's just crazy to think about like what sort of trajectory that series could have gone.
Yeah, if you remember the whole like narrative back then, it was like no one's ever won 4 series in a row. Origin's over. Origin's over in Queensland. That was so, because obviously like they have a lot more riding on it than us all the time, right? So whenever they're down, the game's over. Origins only survives when Queensland's killing it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that good. If New South Wales won 8 in a row, they'd probably near end Origin.
Yeah.
That's how passionate Queensland are. Obviously they can't just end it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a dramatic take, but it's also
dramatic. That's the way they
how
feel.
much they feel.
Yeah, we're like life goes on. It's fucking Origin. We're still going to play, but it's like the way that the narrative up at the Courier Mail and all this shit. Origin's over. Orange is dead if we win 4 in a row. And I'm like,
well, so you could argue that's why Queensland always say we don't.
Yeah, it's just get Origin bullshit. We don't get Origin. Well, okay, whatever. Yeah. I remember playing in that game. It was
what
awful.
A sliding doors moment. Though,
that was probably the most disappointed I've ever been after a game. That very game that he's.
Were you a part of all 3 before that too?
Yeah. No, I missed 05 because I was injured. I missed 05, but I like 3-4 and missed 5 injured and then 6. Yeah, so that was like, that was the most devastated I've ever been after a game. When I look back on it right now,
yes,
in tests and origins and all that sort of stuff, probably 350, 360 games. Yep. That's the game.
I always remember that.
So thanks for bringing it up, Justin.
Special Horo.
No, that's crazy.
What else happened in that game? Because obviously I remember Origins. I just need to refresh my memory.
I think
we used quite dominant in that game.
I think it was 16-4 with like
10 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago, and me, Heine, and Bedsy got bought off because I think God rest his soul.
Graham Murray.
Yep. God rest his soul. Graham Murray took us off because I think he might have thought we're good. Right?
Did you play the entire game before that?
Yeah, we played the whole second half.
Yeah, okay.
So it was just like we had some big minutes out there, and I think it was 14-6. He bought me Bedsy and Heine, which is pretty much most of middles on.
Yeah, wow.
And then Luke O'Donnell, Marco Mealy. This is from what my memory comes.
Yep.
And then where JT threw those 2 dummies, was on the 2 people that come on.
Do you think that was
because of the fact? Is like when you fucking come on the Origin in a decider and you haven't been on for 30 minutes, you'll get done by that little fella there who's just looking for lazy people. He waited to the 72nd fucking minute, and then like bang bang, TODD scores, dummy, and 2 of the blokes that got caught. You start going on a fucking bang. 30 kilometers an hour when you've just been sitting on the bench. You can't replicate it.
Yeah.
You got to let the dudes who are out there just keep fucking going and get through it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden when Lockie has scored and then they were winning and he chucked us all back on, it was game over. We just got fucking
How long
smashed.
was there to go? About 5 minutes, 6 minutes by the time Lockie had scored, you reckon?
Yeah, we were both off. We were off. Yeah. We were all off.
Wow.
And we were just watching it unravel. We was like, we had this in the palm of our fucking hand. I think it was 14-6 or 16-4. I'm not sure. People will tell me. Something like that where 2 tries or 3 tries. Yeah, that was... I'm not saying it was a coaching blunder or anything like that, but
no, that's
it's
the
2 people.
That led
it's
to
2 people that come on and they just got hit. Where JT, that's what made JT.
Yeah. Oh, that was going to be my question.
Yeah, that little fucker did nothing.
Was that the beginning of JT's legacy?
Yeah, and that was it. I think it was his second Origin series or his first. I'm not sure, but like fuck. I just remember going, this little fuck, he hasn't done nothing all game. Boom, dummy, TODD, this, that. And then like 2 clean line breaks. I was like, And that's what I'm saying about him. He'll just keep going. He'll copy his hits, and he'll get you somewhere.
Well, what did you say the other day? Like a couple of weeks ago, you talked about you had a chat with him, Origin moments.
Yeah.
He had his moment.
Everyone else had their little moments, and then he has the biggest moment.
And he took advantage of it,
And D-Lock as well. Yeah. Like he had his best year of all time that year in 06, but they were riding him. They were going to take his captaincy away from the Kangaroos and from Queensland.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Because they knew Cooper Cronk and JT was sort of around there. They're going, this is your last series if you don't win, and tests and everything. And then he goes out and then he wins the premiership.
And he punched out another couple of years, 2 or 3 years, Australia and Queensland.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Then passed the baton on to the rest of them.
And then JT moves out, Cooper Cronk comes in. Boom, boom, boom. Dynasty built.
Wow.
Off that, not saying that one play, but that was a very, very crucial fucking sliding doors moment.
Very.
Very.
This one from, I think it's Cobber McCule, and it's to do with the Eels coaching, which is still ongoing.
Still going.
Also, I'll add to something a little after the question. If you got the Eels coaching gig, what would you do to make sure 2025 is a success? Who would you go after for your roster, and how would you change the culture?
I don't think they really need to go after much. Maybe an outside back.
I agree. Yeah. Well, they've got Lomax coming.
Not too much. Yeah, not too much. You got a good core of players there. We said it last week. So there's not much you really have to change. And obviously it is a bit of a coaching problem there, right? Must be. You know, as I said, like I think.
As in what do you mean by that?
I think. Well, we were right. Just say with BA being a great coach, but like the message just got blurred. I think. When you've been there for too long, he wasn't getting the best out of his players because that roster should be in the top 8, not last.
I agree. It's a top 8 roster.
Unbelievable where they've fallen for, but it's a habit, right? Losing's a habit. And when they talk about the culture, I wouldn't change it. As I said, go back to that, not changing the roster that much.
Okay.
changing the culture is a big word they always fucking throw around. What's the culture like? Change the culture. You know who controls the culture? The fucking coaches and the players, and that is it. And whenever they're going in these meetings, whenever they're going into camps and whatever they do, all that sort of stuff, top 30 plus the coaching stuff, that's the culture. Parramatta Eels as a club, totally different thing. The DNA of Parramatta Eels, that's what you're talking about. What the culture of a team is all players, player-driven. Coaches sort of just try and figure out what they got to do. Then they've got to go look now and go, who's the coach that can actually get these players together to buy in together, buy in together for a whole year or 2 years or 3 years, because that window is fucking closing very, very quick. And if you got players like RCG and Paulo, Cartwright,
2 or 3 years,
Moses, you got 2 or 3 years max. These guys are running out of time.
Yeah, you're right. So I agree with you. And I said this a couple of months ago now, where I felt like the message was becoming a little bit blurred, a little bit old with Brad Arthur in particular. And at the time, the Roosters weren't travelling well. And I still think it's not easy. It's not easy for a coach to be at a club for that long and have your senior playing group, which you've trusted, you've had results with, and continue to drive. Maybe like I remember there was a famous quote or saying that Parramatta used to have, chase the collision. Chase the collision was Brad's big thing that he had about 3 or 4 years ago. And I used to hear Brad talk about it all the time, and I heard some of the players talk about it.
So what do you think's the difference between when you had him, Brad Arthur and Robbo at the same sort of time? You're talking about blurred, you're saying the message was getting...
Just if you're going to be...
No, what do you think the difference is?
Oh, so what's changed?
No, Robbo fucking won 3 comps.
Yeah,
so that's why the difference.
Then?
So that's the difference between him and BA, where these players can go, I've been listening to this shit for fucking 10 years.
Gotcha.
Where I've listened to this for 10 years and it works because we've won 3 premierships. Yeah. So they can buy into what they're doing now, last run, whatever they say, whatever they're trying to do as a playing group, I believe the Roosters will do it.
Yeah.
Because they've got that playing group that is very strong. And Robbo's on board and everyone's back in this team now. And the belief is there in that team.
Yeah.
Where I don't think the belief is there in Parramatta.
Okay.
So someone needs to restore that.
Yep, that's a good point. Okay. So Lukey was just saying, Lukey is a die-hard Parramatta Eels fan.
Die-hard.
After I retired from Parramatta and moved on to Manly, that's when he started following them. He's saying that the players have been pushing hard for Baz, mate. And this is off the back of, apparently, it seems to be like Dean Young, if not the favourite, is a big part of the thought process moving forward. So Hannay, Riles, Dean Young, very similar coaches, been assistant coaches
Riles
for a long time. No, he's not out by any means. But Dean Young has come into... the fray, I suppose, and the players want Baz.
Well, I just think that's probably the right thing to say if you're a current player and who's your head coach? Trent Barrett. You're not going to say fucking get him out. Still got a half a year to go.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like you go, well, what do you think about who do you think should be the head coach? Yeah, Trent Barrett. I'm in the fucking 17. Go talk to some bloke who's fucking playing reserve grade every week. You know what I mean? He's going to have a different answer, right? I love Baz, great friend of mine. Yeah. I'm not sure if he's the right guy for that job. Parramatta board need to discuss that shit. Yeah, and if you want a whole new one, you go interview Rilesy and Hannay and Young and Ben Hornby, all that gang. They can coach. They haven't been tested, but
Ben Hornby's doing a good job.
Hornby, they're all best mates, Rilesy and all that. Get that whole squad together.
Yeah, I feel like they've
all gone boys, mate.
They've all been assistant coaches together at the one point, I feel like. Except for
I think
Riles, maybe not Hannay, Riles, Hornby and Dean Young. Would they have been assistants at the Dragons back in the day? I know Hornby and Dean Young were. Maybe not. Maybe I think Riles might have been at Melbourne.
I think all of them could do a really good job. Yeah. The youngsters, right? Where
someone needs an opportunity.
Trent Barrett's different, right? He can't be sitting 17th if he wants that job next year. Unless he has a fucking monumental push at the end of the year, like starts right now and wins every single game, and catches fire. That's the only reason why Baz is going to get it. But don't go off one or two players that are in the 17 now.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I seen something in the punters and dribblers page and they're like, only Trent Barrett can have the bye and go down on the ladder.
They're the best.
They're the best.
Fucking best.
They're the best.
And he's right. They went down on the ladder.
They went down the last. Oh, well, one
because the fucking Tigers and Titans won. Oh. Unlucky, Lukey.
All right, this one is from the Colony Information Flea. The boys. Wow. Hey, boys. I love what you do. No bullshit and honest views. You both played against Rob Burrow. Could you do a small piece on him and what he was like to play against despite his size, and your thoughts on the fundraising efforts of JP, Jamie Peacock and Kevin Sinfield? Your British followers will love it. Rob was an absolute hero to us. Mace, you want to start with this?
Yeah, condolences, Rob Burrow family, everyone who loved him and played with him, played against him, had anything to do with him, because he was a great human. He was. Kem Sinfield, JP, all these guys doing some great things over there. They've raised a lot of money and done everything they can possible
for motor neurone.
It's a terrible disease. Carl Webb, the great Carl Webb, passed on that this year as well. So I played against Rob Burrow in 2003. 2003.
Was that?
He was in an up and coming England side, right? So it was England. I'm not sure how many other players, but I just remember this little fella because he carved the shit out of us, right? Yeah. So this is when we were on the 2003 Kentucky tour. When I said we were on a Kentucky tour.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but you weren't expected to win during that period.
We were expected to win. So we've got the Australian team, right? Yes. So we had a couple of warm-up games against the Frenchies and the England A side. This is England A. Yep. They nearly fucking beat us.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of him. Yeah, right? He just carved us. We were hungover as shit. And this little fella just we're playing in the north of England. It was awful. And they're obviously playing against the Australian side. We put a good side out there.
Those are his conditions as well.
Conditions, mate. This little guy, I remember him ducking under my arm, right? He ducked under, still fully running, full speed. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And he was undersized. He was quick as hell. And he was very beloved, with his teammates. I knew they just loved him because he was undersized and he'd put his body in front of blokes like me and Petro and Ogre, all these blokes. And I just loved him, and I got along with him really well. After the game, and he was just this cheeky little half, which they all are, very beloved. And you can tell, this guy's passed on right now. And look at the love that he's getting, man. He played outstanding. Yeah. For his size, he shouldn't be. He could be a jockey. He could have been a jockey.
Honestly, yeah, he was so small.
He just bulked up. He's a bulked up jockey.
I'll give you a description for him, and this is what I found playing him at the back end of his career when I started in the Super League. Frustrating.
Yeah.
He was frustrating as fuck.
You can't hit him.
Because you couldn't get him for a smaller guy, and he wasn't a spot. It's not like you created – he was tiny in stature, but he had the biggest heart. Yeah. He always had really good technique for a smaller guy, and I found it
he didn't have to dip.
I watched from afar, and I'd be like – once I got to the Super League, I'm like, kiddies.
And he was the king over there.
This guy's been carving up. This Leeds team has got some stars. They're a little bit older by this point, mind you. Danny Maguire, Kevin Sinfield and all this. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to get over there. This is NRL quality, whatever, Super League. Nah.
Leeds are good, man.
You're like, this is why this guy carves up every week because he wasn't a spot. He was tough as hell. And you can see how much he meant to not only the Leeds but the Super League, and Brodie Croft with a man of the match performance. And he was very emotional after the game. I don't know if you've seen that, Mace, but he got interviewed after the game and he was highly emotional. So well done to everyone who supported not only Rob Burrow in that game, but the last couple of years, and Kevin Sinfield for what he's done, raising money with all those huge runs that he's done.
See how beloved he is, when your teammates are flying all around the world to get the Ali Lauatiti and all those boys come in there, and it's emotional because I don't know Rob on that level, but I know how important guys like that are. Right, and you just see the love and I flick past a lot of it because it's fucking emotional. Do you know what I mean? Because I know this guy. I've known him for 21 years, right? Known of him, had a beer with him, and it's sad. With Carl Webb, I've known Carl Webb since I was 15. It's very sad, man. Because these guys are fucking. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. So I just go past them like fuck, because it's emotional for me as well. Because you know these guys. You spilt blood with these guys on the same field. You know what I mean? So it's like fuck. Did this happen? You know what I mean? Because they're my age. It's fucking hard. Yeah. Guys have got families and shit. It's heartbreaking, mate.
See his family.
So these guys, his teammates are doing some fucking great things, mate. Good on you, boys.
So there you go. The Colony Information Fleet, absolute legend Rob Burrow will be dearly missed by everyone in the rugby league community. Very special guests. Yeah. We're about to get in, breaking down our origin teams. We'll have all our predictions after this as well, Mace. But we are very grateful for a good mate of both of ours, different parts of our careers. Me and Pearcey played under 20s together, and then you played with him a little bit later on when you moved on for the Dogs. Thanks for coming in, Pearcey.
Thanks for having me, boys. Good to see ya.
All right, let's get straight into it, mate. So, mate, we're going to ask you a few questions around Origin. I've seen that you did the backstage podcast with Maddie and Cooper. that aired last night. And one of the stories, one of the yarns was your first Origin game debuted with the big fella. So
07, eh?
08.
08, was it 08?
Yeah.
Right.
So
won, didn't we?
memories from that Origin?
Yeah. It was game 1, wasn't it? Was yours the decider?
You won. I come in and decide.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, we lost. It was fucking
so we were
awful.
At the Roosters, so 2008.
Yeah.
Came over Ogre. So we had all the big dogs come over for a young halfback for me. You can imagine me off the back of that.
Yep.
It was probably one of the most enjoyable years I've played in footy.
Yeah, it was good, eh?
We had a real good year. Freddie took over as coach, and as I said, I had Braith outside me, then Mace, Willie.
Yeah, we had a killer team, mate.
Mace, Ogre, Fitzy,
Nate Miles, Fitzy.
Milesy. So we had a real good pack, and momentum just sort of built over the year. I can't remember who got injured in the second game, but I think it was Noddy.
Yeah.
Mace might be able to remember.
Yeah, far. I thought it was game 1. That was awful. The game 3. When fucking Izzy caught the ball over Quinny's head and put it down. Oh, yuck!
What was the final scoreline in that?
It won try. It was that try that it's another devastating fucking loss. Yeah.
Piercy, well, you just missed out because you come in a little bit later. We did the start of the show and we talked about sliding doors moments. We talked about the 06 dummy half pass, which led to the dynasty. But like there were stories with Darren Lockyer, he was nearly on the out. Like him and Pet were on the out, and how different the progression of all the dynasty could have been if that didn't happen.
So we had him on the rack.
Back on all the series, there's little moments like that, wasn't there?
Yeah, but we had him right. Yeah. Gaz schools him in game 1, remember? And then GI, the infamous fucking jousting stick, and palms the whole team off. Game 2 at Suncorp. Game 3 when you come in, and we had him like that, and then it's a perfect thing. I put that much kick pressure on JT, and he puts it on the wrong side, kicking that way on his right foot on a fucking dime. Izzy up above.
I remember that try.
And he puts it behind his head. Game over.
Yeah.
That's the second time I've been that's the second most devastated I've been in the game. That was awful. That was awful.
Was that the game winner?
Last game
that was the game winner. There's a perfect highlight of it because they show it in Queensland all the time because all I see is kick pressure and then him just, yuck, God.
Betsy's last game too.
Well.
That's right.
I was just like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, so what was
kid.
That's a cracking game too.
Your first ever Origin, that happens. Bedsy's, you got the big fella. You played at the Roosters with him. What was it like, mate?
It was awesome. Like I didn't expect it. We played Newcastle. We played up there, the old stadium before. I remember the old sheds and everything.
Yep.
Had a real good game there. We went in a tight game. It was a really tough game. And then they were picking the team the next day. And then obviously I got picked. But yeah, like I said, I had Mace there, Braith, Fitzy as well. So having those sort of boys in that first camp made a big difference because
it would to have like 5 or 6 blokes that you play club football with, and then coming into Origin. I never thought of it like that, right? Like I'd had no one in my first couple of camps, but like you wouldn't have felt overawed. Like just say if you're a young kid now coming into camp and you don't know any teammates, that'd be so weird. Eh? So it wouldn't have been too bad for you.
Yeah, it was good and took the pressure off, obviously. But I think those early years, you sort of you're a bit more free. You're like your confidence. You're coming off club footy. You haven't got too many bad memories of Origin or rep footy like I did probably a few years later.
You don't have the scars.
So you're just in there and enjoying it, and you just can't wait to get out there and run out there, really. The weeks have been intimidating. The first couple of training sessions, obviously, trying to run the boys around when you're only a kid, but...
Yeah.
And they expect you to run it, right? Like, because I just can't... Because
you don't want to drop the ball.
As a forward, like, all you're doing is, like, obviously defense and everything like that, and just hitting the ball up off the 9, off the 7, couple of little plays here. Yeah. But this young man has to come in and tell grown-ass men what to do, and I'm telling him to tell me tell everyone what to do, right? Everyone knows what they're fucking doing, but we need Pearcey to fucking talk, because when you're out there, you ain't hearing shit, right? Yeah. And if we can't hear Pearcey or any 7 who comes in, like if he's not a dominant voice, can't have his little church mouse in there. You know what I mean? So, the mentality of a 7 compared to a forward would be fucking totally different, right?
Yeah, well, you got to get us. I only said it the other day. I think it's good advice to any young half. You got to, even if you're feeling that anxiety, you got to get through those fears. I think as any young half, I'm doing a bit of stuff with the academy kids now, and it's about expressing themselves. And you got to learn to, no matter how you feel, it's your job. It's your job as a middle to go out there and set the platform for your halves and the rest of the team. And it's your job as a halfback to express yourself and bring the players around you into the game as quick as you can. And in those Origin arenas, it's multiplied by 50. Like you said, you're around new players that you're not used to. You've got to go in there and stamp your authority from the start. So yeah, it was a good lesson from the start for a 19-year-old. Came pretty fast, and I look back on it. It was all a bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure. You had a good question for him about game one, Mason.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was with the great Andrew Johns on the weekend. We did a bit of a talk Q&A at the Star City, and I said to him, "Let's rewind the clock to 2004 or 5, and one of our Tamana Tahu gets sent off in the first 8 minutes. What is your talk to us? What's the game plan, right?"
Message.
And they'll fast forward, like just say 2013, 14. Centre gets sent off. What's Pearcey talking? We've got 12 men. What's Pearcey's message to the whole group? What's our game plan? For me as the middle,
what would you have done?
It's a great question. I was thinking about this when I was at the game, because putting myself in Nicho's shoes, as soon as the unexpected situation happened, you know, Nicho's gone in there with this probably perfect plan, how they're going to play. He's going to kick the corners, build pressure, and next minute he's left with 12 men. What would have I done? I think the first most important thing is high possession. You got to win field position if you've got 12 men, which comes off the back of your kicking game. So his first priority should have been, where does he want to put the ball for the end of his sets? I think that should have been his priority, and that means sacrificing some pretty plays just to get forward and win field position. Sometimes kicking early. I think you have to have your possession at least 90% for any chance to win any game, let alone an Origin with 12 men. I think where we went wrong as well, we tried to stick to the plan that was obviously premeditated going into the game around block plays and trying to run around Queensland. I thought we overdid it on that right edge, their left edge, where Nicho kept coming there trying to play these pretty set pieces with Teddy there, and we kept getting squashed there on that edge. Our best play was when we went back to who was in the middle there. We went back through the middle.
Yowie?
Who got held up there? Spencer
Lenu.
When Spencer got held up over the line, which nearly got us back in the game. That was the best play of the game with
that was
12
just
men.
fast and flat.
Just fast and flat, play back through the middle. I still think it'll be a plan going into this game as well, but we should have probably done that in game one earlier. Just bring your big outside backs through the middle. Yeah. Cross plays, coming back through the middle, tire their middles out, try and find a restart off the back of it. Anywhere where you can tire out their middles and try and win field position. I think with 12 men in a big game, you've got to somehow put the pressure back on Queensland to make them feel like they've got to chase this.
Like, how the fuck are these guys still in it?
How are these guys still in it? We've been in these situations in club footy before when you got 12 men, and the pressure's on the opposition when they start feeling the heat because they can't score points.
Do you think they'll get nervous at 20-10?
I think so. I was just going to say that 20-10, we got to 65 minutes, and they haven't put us to bed.
But it was our errors that.
I know, just kept on compounding and stuff like that, and then they end up running away, and they go, they smash us. I'm like. Spencer Lenu scores that try. 20-16.
Well, that was a big
20
moment.
to go. It was a very big moment.
Yeah.
You know,
I think the problem was we sort of.
What would your message be to the middles?
It was just to be, let's complete high, work together. It's got to be a defence focus.
Still play football, or
I reckon
just
you got to keep your middles
out?
fresh as much as you can as well. You could probably speak from a middles point of view, but the way your kicking game controls the game, whether you can find touch at times, you got to somehow put the opposition in the corners as much as you can through your kicking game as a half to keep your middles fresh, because you're going to be doing twice the defence. It's a hard ask for your middles. So whether you use your outside backs on your yardage sets more often, we've done that in plenty of games for club footy. But you got to keep your middles fresh, and you got to keep yourself. You got to win possession. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. You talked about scars and pressure. You're probably the best person for Nicho to get advice from now. Now looking back, if you were in that position that Nicho's in now, he's played one game, he got moved to the centres. Circumstances were crazy for what he's gone through right now. What advice would you either give Nicho or like a younger version of yourself with what he's going through right now, knowing what you know now, and you're sort of far removed from the pressure that's associated with Origin?
Yeah, well, I think Nicho's got to go back and just keep working on his game. It's all come really fast for Nicho. You look at Nicho's career. Mitch Moses in a different situation. I think he's had 1 or 2 Origins. But he's been playing for nearly 10 years now, 10 or 11 years in first grade. His time's come after years and years of hit and miss, making mistakes at club level. So he's ready now. I think with Nicho, everything's come really fast. He had his good seasons in Melbourne. He signed with Cronulla. He's had all this sort of fanfare, which he's well deserved.
It's gone well in Cronulla for him, hasn't it?
It's played really well, but I think for him, and the thing I noticed in Origin, I think club footy, especially the style Nicho plays, where he's a real space player, and the structure at Cronulla suits him. He feels good in that environment. He's understood what works for him in that team environment. When you can go into an Origin sometimes and the style of footy doesn't go your way or the structures aren't the same, it can be pretty daunting.
Okay.
And it's a good lesson for him. So I think.
What do you mean by space player too? Can you explain that a little bit more?
I think with NICHO, he's a player that's probably not. He's not a manipulator of the defence as such, and I think that maybe hurt him a little bit in Origin because
especially when you go down with
with 12 men.
Yep.
And the structure's not the same around you. That play for a play can be a bit more difficult. And you have to start making things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And when you say manipulating, like not digging into the line so far?
Yeah, just you look at someone who
like on a block play is all that sort of stuff. He just likes that fancy sort of stuff.
Well, manipulating the D, I think someone like Nathan Cleary, Joey, we talk about those on the ball halves where they're asking questions, they're play for plays, they're doing everything.
Questioning the middles all the time, right?
Yeah, they're constantly working over sequences to open space for the rest of their players, where Nico's more of a player where he gets a quick play the ball, he jumps off the back of it.
Yep.
He sees his opportunity, he's got great instincts. He's a feel-good, he feels space.
Yeah, so the flip side of that, just say when you don't start feeling it, when it's not like short side raid, like what club football where you can dominate those little train tracks. Yep. When it doesn't happen, where would his plan B be?
Well, that's the lesson. I think.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, what would be yours if you're like that? Just say when you were a younger kid, right? Yep. You weren't manipulating the line, and then the Queensland team was just shutting you down. What would be your plan B?
Well, that's probably where I can relate because you said, "What can I relate to Nicho?" I didn't have that at that age either. Yeah. So that's why I think Mitch Moses is in a better position. So to compare the two, I think Mitch Moses is in a better position now because I think he's learnt that. Yep. Mitch 10 years ago was probably the same as what me and Nicho were at that age, where he was a bit of a space player too. He's playing eyes up. And as Mace just said, when an Origin arena doesn't give you what you want, you got no possession, you're coming off your own line, your forwards are stuffed, can't get forward.
You can swear on this show. They're fucked.
You're fucked. You got to go to plan B, which is finding other ways to build momentum. And it takes a long time. You know, some players never get there. I always, to be honest, of a weakness of my career, for my whole career, I probably never fully mastered that at the back end, especially in big games. Your Coopers and Lockies, these guys were great at that. And that's probably where I let myself down in big Origin. So I can relate to how Nicho would be feeling. It would have been like a deer in headlights in that first game. And I think, I just think he'll get a lot of lessons out of it, knowing how to play different styles of footy. The other thing is too, dealing with the intensity in Origin. We know how hard it is and all the pressure. So he's going to have to deal with all the criticism now and more eyes on him, which is another burden.
Yeah, how did you take that back to club footy then? And how did you refocus back on club footy? Like, what was important for you when you got back to the Roosters?
Yeah, I think you just got to try and compartmentalise as much as you can. And it's a skill, isn't it? It's
like
it
is.
Any athlete.
It is.
Mace you've been through plenty of rep footy and ups and downs. And any player who plays for a long time has to learn how to compartmentalise. You got to be able to block things out and block out all the bullshit and all the shit talk and get yourself back on track to what matters. And that's all that you can do. You can't complain or be the villain. It's about getting back on with and using it as motivation. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And every player is different, but it's mental strength.
Yeah, Nicho's at that stage now. What is he, 25 years old? He's had a bit of a crack. He's played a test. He's won the Dally M. Yeah. Like, they'll probably give him one or two more chances, right? And then they're just going to be like, he's not cut out for it.
Yeah. I think one more.
Maybe one. I'm just trying to be nice with two. Yeah. I think because a lot of halves are coming through the system, right? And Moses could hold this for another 2 or 3 years if he gets the job done in the next couple of games. So he's had a real, like, that sort of part of his career is like, fuck, I need to dominate. Like, in international football, he's got a nod, and in club, and state of origin. So it's like, it's going to be hard for him to go back to club and just like dominate like every single week and then get that chance. I don't want him to be that sort of player because he's only going to get a couple of chances and then they're going to just fucking wipe him. I think he's a club player.
The thing is with two, I think we went in with a plan, game one, Madges, the way with Robson at dummy half and the smaller mobile middles. We had this vision of like, let's just blow the ruck. We're going to run through Queensland and all the boys are going to, Nicho and Jerome are going to jump off the back of it. Yeah. And we got a rude shock. Reality is, Origins don't go like that all the time, but I think that was the plan.
I think it was too. And I'm like, if I was Queensland, I said, if I'm Queensland, you pick McInnes and you pick all these rough riders in the pack, they're going to try and blow us off in the middle. Yeah. Like, I know we got to 12 men, but like, if I'm Lindsay Collins, if I'm Ruben Cotter, if I'm Nanai, if I'm these guys, I'm fucking coming straight at it and I'm taking that shit personal because I know if I'm Queensland, if we dominate the middle, we're probably going to win the game.
Yeah. The Yowie ones, what do you think of that? Like the Yowie one for me is a weird decision, having him off the bench. Yeah, it's weird. We spoke about having a good structure to go back to under pressure. He's the best, talk about manipulating defence, he's the best lock we've seen for probably a decade at doing that. And
so Yoey's your starter for you?
For sure. Just I think someone like him starting, he builds the sets. He would have helped the NICHO start of the game. Obviously, the 12-man, the game scenario was different, so it's hard to compare that game.
Yep. Yeah.
But Yoey would set the game up like he does with Nathan.
Yep.
He gets you to positions without having to, the halves, takes the pressure off halves, getting you positions.
He knows when to move the ball and move it. Like, just say, if he's on a numbers line, he'll pass the ball and get it out the back. He can do that really well. Or he can just bang it straight through you.
Big time.
I think I like Yoey. I like starting him. I hope to God on Wednesday he starts in front of Cam Murray.
Yeah.
Just a real late change because he's a big body. He's figured out a balance in Origin where his first couple he was fucking trying to manipulate too much. Pass out the back, all these block shapes. Yeah. Fuck that. Sometimes have that shape with you, dig it in by yourself, right?
Yeah,
but he's a big enough body with great footwork. He can find space and find his front really well. I think Cam Murray would be great off the bench, right?
I love Cam Murray.
I love Cam Murray. I think Cam Murray, I'm starting Cam Murray. But one game, quad injury, shoulder injury, all this sort of stuff, he's a bit banged up.
His leg speed will be good though, won't it?
I'll ask you a question
leg
about
speed
Yoey.
will be good.
Fucking great.
He's
Yeah,
so good.
I love it.
Quick question about Yoey before we move on. He's so ball dominant and he's got a great relationship with Nath.
Yeah.
I reckon he's probably arguably, outside of Teddy, one of the more criticised players in the last couple of years because he is so ball dominant. How would you work with Yoey? Like, do you like what he does at Penrith with Nath, how he's controls the middle and then you're able to focus on what you're going to do with the edges, or do you like less is more?
No, I love the style he plays.
With the ball playing lock.
Yeah, no, I love the style he plays. It depends the team you're in and the situation, but the way it works with him and Nathan,
but it
can't criticise that, can we?
Of course.
I think, and as I just said before, I think he would have helped the NICHO's game if he was starting, because NICHO, as we said, is a space player and he likes to play eyes up. And if you got a lock like Yoey, he can get you to positions. Say you work into a position, get me to the middle of the field. Yoey gets you there like a halfback. It takes pressure off. It gives a halfback a bit of time to breathe. So I reckon someone like him, Nathan would say that himself at Penrith.
So
I think sometimes with Yoey,
you were talking about before, like concentrate on your kicking game then, which you talked about before with NICHO.
Yeah, we just got an extra
focus on that, finishing the sets well.
You just got an extra organiser. You know, you got someone in there that takes the pressure off, and someone like him is a starting player to me because
I agree.
I think off the bench you need. You know, look how good Spencer was when he came on. You need people with leg speed.
Yeah,
just get you over the advantage line, come up with some second phase.
With Yoey, sometimes he overplays his hand sometimes. And just say if I'm a middle and a lock just wants me to push up with him all the time, I'm like, fuck off in Origin, right? Just give me the ball off the 9 or fucking give me early ball.
Yep.
So some props don't like getting dug into the line so far, right?
Yep.
It's all right at club football, but in Origin, you want it early ball if you're Payne Haas, Jake Trbojevic, all these other guys, Spencer. They don't want to push up with you if someone goes, come with me just so I can take fucking flies off them. Yeah, but then it takes you out of that next play, right? So guys like Payne and that really want that early ball. So he doesn't work with those guys that good. Club level, perfect. Because he's dominating, he manipulates the ruck so much. He can move it when he wants to move it. Yeah. But in an Origin level, the middles just don't really want that ball off the 9. I want it off the 7. I trust the 7. Give me fucking early ball. You know what I mean? Like it's a different mentality in Origin.
He's got his rapport with Fish.
Yeah, so he's got Fish, he's got Leota. He doesn't have that at that Payne Haas and Jake Trbojevic doesn't want the ball off a fucking lock.
Nah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he doesn't play like Payne Haas don't play like that.
Yeah.
He just wants it off the 9, so he just got to suit the other props because they're the most important. Spencer's used to it because he's used to his tempo, right?
Yeah.
Where he just digs into the line now, has a show, boom. We know you're not going to do it, but just push up with him anyway, right? So that's important for him. And I think his role is very specific now. He comes off the bench, fucking get those big meters. He's 6 foot 408 kilos. He's a big boy. Yeah. He can fucking handle the hits, right? He can do both, but I just find it. I see why the front rows and that don't push as hard with him, right? Okay. Because Origin's different. You don't want those balls off the 13. It doesn't happen like that. I don't want it. Me, preferably, fuck, move out of the way. Yep. I'll get the ball off
early
the 9.
Ball.
Right?
Early ball,
fucking, especially early.
Yep.
Fucking first.
It
don't die down. Yeah. And the pressure cooker is fucking at its most intense. I don't want you digging outside fucking C. Yep. Give me the ball, I'll get to C.
Yep.
Because you're taking those meters off me.
All right, PC. Does New South Wales have a better team in Game 2 than they do in Game 1? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
Yeah, I think 100%. I think obviously the add-ons, we've got Mitch Moses there who's, I think, better adapted to the situation that we're in. Yep. And he's in a really good sweet spot in his career. He's obviously only come back from a couple of games out of injury, but he's had some big games. I just like the balance in his game. He can play the long game and he can play short games, and hopefully he can get that on under pressure. I think Latrell coming back in. He's obviously copped plenty of criticism this year, but the way he's played the last couple of weeks, he's got that eye of the tiger again. And
would Latrell been in your game 1, or are you happy with him now in game 2?
Yeah, probably game 1. I would have gone with what we did, just on form. But the last couple of weeks, Latrell talks a lot about people against him, but I feel like observing him and playing with him a bit, he loves this. You know, he gets off on. He needs that. That's that Michael Jordan mentality. Yeah, for sure. And you could tell when he's on. He doesn't have to say much. It's his body language. It's that, that try he scored last week. I think it was last week. He just ran over someone 10 out.
Get out of the way.
Fucking boom with big power. Like when he does that, and we've seen him do that in Origin. When Freddie was coach there for a couple of years, he was our best player, and he was scoring tries like that, bullying.
That's exactly right.
Queensland.
And I love to see where he's at now, right? So just say that little subliminal Instagram thing after game 1 going.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Well, now,
what was it? I didn't see.
He took a picture of
himself.
When Lee got sent off, he did a selfie and it was like...
I love it.
So that's a little subliminal hit there. So he's done that. Fast forward to right now, he's our fucking dude. He's in the team. He's got what he fucking wished for. He's our man. The whole narrative's changed. Everyone wants the Television's back. He's our man. Saw the fucking papers yesterday. It was a little quick... Yeah, fucking hell. And I'm like, now it puts pressure on you, right? It puts pressure. Like Moses is doing all these fucking interviews. Dude, you played 2 Origins. Just fucking get the game. You know what I mean? Like, Trell's like, there's a lot of pressure coming into game 2. You know that, man. Game 2's fucking the hardest game. It's ridiculous. But now you got what you wanted, Latrell, and I want to see that fucking beast come on Wednesday and just go nuts, right? And just dominate. Because he's got what he wished for. He fucking sent the message out. We got him back. Now let's kill it, man. Moses, fucking kill it. I want that shit. I want it. I want to see it all.
This is why our podcast kills it, because how passionate he gets about the Blues.
Fuck, mate. You know what I mean?
We can be talking like really normal conversation, and then he just gets fucking passionate like that.
I just want to see him fucking dominate.
I want to play now.
I had a little squiz at the papers as I saw Moses. Oh, my time. Like, just get all the papers, mate. Because everyone just keeps those fucking receipts. Everyone keeps those receipts. I'm like, dude, just shut up. Just fucking give me a man of the match and fucking dominate.
So tick Moses, tick Latrell, Edwards over Teddy.
Yeah, I was critical of Teddy not being in there at the start for the first game, just because you can't knock a champion. And he did nothing wrong, Teddy. He always does his best. Like the one thing with Teddy, regardless if the team's not going well and with 12 men, he just puts his hand up. Like he maybe sometimes overworks, but that's just the greatness of Teddy.
That's the biggest criticism on for sure. That gets in the way a little bit too much.
But he never
as a half, similar to the Yo question. Do you think that's unfair criticism towards Teddy and what he's done at Origin level, or would it be the frustrating parts of his game where and does Dylan Edwards bring anything different? Is my question.
I think Dylan Edwards is ready for it. I think it's a good change. The fact that we lost the first game, Teddy wasn't going to be there in the first one. Edwards is there. Like the fire in his belly would be crazy. He's older now too for a debutant. But he's won 3 comps. Like let's be honest, if someone had won 3 comps through the Broncos era or Parramatta era and they went playing Origin, he'd be going,
then he played one.
What's
Origin.
he done wrong by someone?
He played 1 Origin.
Like, it's like immortal stuff, to win 3 comps. And he's won Clive Churchill.
Dominate.
He's never played reps.
That's a great point.
It's reality, isn't it? Like,
he could have done that.
Kenny weren't getting picked. Back in the 80s, after 3 comps, people going, they're not in Origin. Like it'd be so. It's just unlucky that he's had the great man Teddy in front of him for so long. But I think he's going to be great. He looks like someone who doesn't get flustered by the occasion. He's just got great mental strength, obviously, and the way he plays, he's so tough. So I think his game suits Origin perfect.
Sorry, as a half, right? The way Teddy plays, stop start, fullback, like Edwards, a little bit more around the back. What player would you prefer? Because you played with Teddy.
I suppose both of them probably aren't renowned for their last pass, are they? Like they both can do it and they come up with plenty of assists, but they're more busy players around the ruck, aren't they? Yeah, that play for carry to get you to your kick, scheming off, quick play the ball, support play. But I think in Origin, Teddy scored that try off Jerome, didn't he? When Jerome comes back, puts that grubber through. I can see Edwards doing similar things, working with his halves. So. Look, they're pretty similar players, really, aren't they? Edwards is obviously the younger brother, and he's getting his opportunity now. I'm sure he probably would have modelled a lot of his game off the back of Teddy.
For sure.
So it's we're getting a pretty good replacement there, and I think he'll be close to our best player.
He's got to be.
Who do you think, if New South Wales win this game and send it to a decider, Which one player do you think has to brain it for New South Wales to win?
Yeah, well, it has to be Mitch Moses. Obviously, being an old 7, I'm right behind him. I want him to do really well. I love watching Mitch play. He's come through a similar path to me, like all halves. He's learned his craft for a while, and I feel like he's found a bit of a sweet spot the last couple of years. And he's got a healthy arrogance.
Yeah,
Mitch Moses, the way
like
he
that.
plays, and his long kicking game. I think his long kicking game is the best in the comp.
Yeah, God.
And we need that. I think Cherry is the way he's playing lately. He manipulates defence with his kicking game. He's sort of set the benchmark for that. And I think Mitch Moses is probably the only one besides Nathan that can go with him with that.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm sure he will.
Elaborate a little bit more on healthy arrogance, because I 100%
Fucking
know
has
what you're
got that.
I 100%
Yeah.
know what you're talking about, but explain to people that might not know why that's important for a 7.
For a 7 in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you
when
have
Mitch
to have
is
that.
out,
You have to have that belief in big moments, don't you? The times when you're lacking that, you're not playing well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be a bit of smoke and mirrors, and you got to fake it till you make it, I suppose, as a halfback.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you go through fears through your career and anxieties in moments, but sometimes you got to be that guy, not only for yourself to come up with the moment, for your teammates around you to follow you as the halfback. You're the one who sets that energy. You're meant to be the leader. As far as confidence and coming up with the right play, and you need that healthy arrogance. And I think Mitch has got that in bucket loads. And what I like about him, he's tough for his size as well. People underestimate that. Like he takes the line on. He's got great instincts. When he sees something, his body just reacts. He puts his body on the line, and I like that.
His defense is better, in the last
he has.
4 or 5 years, I reckon he's become a way better defender.
Yeah.
That was a knock. That's a knock on him.
We both agree on this, and I think Mitchie will as well. Last year was great. They had a good game. They smoked Queensland. He was really good. I think the couple of years previous, when he fractured his back in the Origin 3, when a dead rubber, and continued to play the whole game.
Yeah.
That flipped it in my opinion. That flipped the toughness or perceived toughness that a lot of people probably didn't think Mitch had in 2021. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember the game.
He was played in game 3. They'd already won the first 2 games. It was at Townsville. They were getting smoked. And he fractured his back, missed 6 weeks, I think, for Para, but played the entire game. And I think for me, that was a pivotal moment for Mitchie Moses.
Well, he's a competitor, isn't he? Like, you see how much wins and losses mean to him. Like, when you play at Para, he gives the old spray to his teammates, and you can see he hates losing, and that's what you want from a player and a halfback. And look, I think he's ready for it. He would have watched the first game, wanting to be out there. Probably exactly what we did, breaking the game down, how he would have handled the situation with 12 men.
Yep.
Yeah, he had the perfect seat in front of the TV at home, and probably had his notebook out, how he's going to do it.
How he's going to get it.
Now he's got his opportunity to go out and dominate. So he's ready to go.
Do you reckon he writes in his book, hopefully my right centre doesn't get sent off?
Don't go fucking
Or like just remove that from the notes?
If that happens, I'm going to get HIA.
What about Connor Watson?
I'm off too.
What about Connor Watson? His inclusion.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Connor.
Yeah, I'm
good
happy
friends with him?
Yeah, great mates with Connor. Had him at the Roosters as a younger kid, and then followed him to Newcastle. So we've sort of mirrored each other's careers. Great guy, as we all know. I'm super happy for him. I think with Connor's game, talking just purely on footy.
Yeah, why is he in the team ahead of Burton and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's just his ability to break the game open.
Yeah.
And he's done that. And he's proven that for a long time. But I think with Connor, and he'd probably say himself, with maturity, his head's slowed down a fair bit.
Yeah.
The way he's playing at the Roosters now, he's coming out with nice passes and picking his times to run over
tempo.
the advantage line. Yeah, he's playing with
Mates, you were
tempo.
talking about that a
I
couple
said
of weeks
that,
ago.
Yeah, where I think probably the knock on him earlier in his career, not knock, but it was just where
run.
he was at. Yeah, he was 100 miles an hour, and he wanted to do everything, which was his greatest strength as well. But with maturity, he's learned tempo, and he's calmed down, and he's just coming up with so many big moments.
Yeah, he
And
slows down when he could break the game down. He could break it right down, but right open. Like he could fuck Queensland right up. I can just imagine a place where he just comes on like Wingy and Kurt Gidley used to. And just blasts that ruck. Robson comes off or moves back to lock or something happens and just put Connor Watson on and just fucking go.
He's so strong.
Yes,
Like in the
fucking
gym.
strong as man.
Mate, you gotta go in the gym with him. He like chin ups and all bench and all
Long
that.
strength.
He's a specimen.
Mate, like he'd be the strongest pound for pound,
Yeah.
chin ups and bench, and I know that doesn't always
No, but
transfer,
equivalates to the game. It does body weight like
but
that.
the way he plays, he's so compact. I think that's probably why he's had a couple of injuries, which is a downfall of that because his body's so tight.
Ah, that's
But
interesting.
it's also why he's so fucking strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a little
Fucking
ball of
strong.
muscle.
And he's
eh?
so good looking. And he's so good
He's
looking.
just a good dude.
He's
I
a
just want him
champion.
to succeed because he's been through some shit the last couple of years.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
he's-
flip side. Queensland, who's the player you're worried about the most? It's probably an obvious answer, judging by what your
fucking halves.
your
Don't
answer
answer.
was.
No halves. Well, I'll go Cherry.
Yeah, let's leave Cherry out of it because Cherry
Yeah.
was the man of the match. Anyone outside of Cherry, we know what to expect from Cherry in a big game and you're a half. Who else scares you in that Queensland team? If they have a blinder, Queensland unfortunately win the series.
Yeah, Walshy.
Yeah.
He's been the one that we sort of haven't. I haven't been reading the papers too much, to be honest. So there's probably been some talk, but like
That's
he's
still head noise from back in the day.
yeah, or retirement. I think it's just retirement.
I don't read them. I look at.
I had 20 years of that. Fuck that.
Go away, Origin.
No, I think Walshy for sure. Like you got to imagine his mentality. Like he's the most talked about player in the comp. He comes into this series. This is probably his goal is to dominate this series.
Yep,
and he
for sure.
gets that taken away from him after 5 minutes. Watches his team kill it, where he probably knew that he would have been one of the best if he was still out there. So yeah, he's got fire
Is
in
there
his
a
belly.
world where he's like a little bit apprehensive at the start for that first hit up?
What do you think?
Maybe we'll see what the hit's like. It's going to be big. Like,
It'll happen again.
It's going to. It won't be like that, but the intent's going to be there. Trust me, man. Like if you're good enough to play, I said it last week. Like if you get fucking hit in the headlight in boxing, you're out for 12 weeks. He can play in 12 days. Come on, man. You're still rattled, bro. Yeah. You're still rattled. You just got to rattle his cage a bit.
The one thing
legally.
The one thing that's pissed me off with, like, the tackle went wrong on Walshy for sure, right? And this perceived targeting or
targeting, man. Come on.
He's the best, arguably the most important player. And there were times where you would have got targeted by Queensland just as much as what Walshy. That's a part of being the playmaker.
That's what happens, man.
The X factor in a team, right? So you would expect it. Walshy will expect it. Yep. He's going to get traffic.
Yep.
They're going to try to bash him. Obviously, they want to do it legally, but that's a part of being the most important or the X factor in the team, right?
Yes.
Like there wasn't like I hate the narrative around. They target him. They wanted to hurt him. They wanted to injure him out of the game.
There's no intent to hurt anyone out there. It's like you just want to fucking the narrative behind it's like they're trying to like. They're trying to get everyone, man.
You just missed.
They pulled the trigger well. It was the perfect, jam. The half digs into the line and you
That's what,
send a
remember
jam.
Skelton, how Skelton had fucking folded Ponga?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
It would have ended up like that.
Yeah.
But that much, then he set off and ruined Origin.
Yeah, so
Will hardly ever play again. He's done now, isn't he? The big fella.
Can he play? Can he play game 3?
No, he can't. I don't think
Oh
so.
no! I thought he could do game 3.
So wait.
No, 4 weeks he got.
4 weeks.
Oh, he will.
He can play. That's what I think they've timed it like that, so he can come up to some court 1-1 and just get booed for fucking. It's the narrative. They already got it.
No way, because if they win game 2, there's no way they're moving on from Latrell Critter.
No, true. I don't think so.
So
it's just make him travel. Just make him travel and just sit on the bench.
Well, he's already trained with the team.
I know.
So Queensland, that's your biggest fear, Walshy. I got one for you, and this is a hypothetical. So they win game 2 to send it to a decider. It's been reported that Tommy Trbojevic is a chance of playing next week, and Nath is close and could play before the decider.
No way.
Do you leave both of them out if they win game 2?
Yeah, if they win, 100%. I think they
100%.
stick to the team.
Okay.
Their injuries are so like that. They're susceptible in Origin. You got to go 0 to 100 like that.
Yep.
It's a tempting little forbidden fruit for Magic.
They're not ready for that.
Come bite it.
Is that an easy
Nice.
decision?
Oh, what are they going to do?
Is that an easy decision?
It's easy for me because I think if we dominate, if we get that win, they've had Moses has killed it.
Yep.
Latrell's killed it. Everyone's played their part. You can't bust that up.
Okay.
You can't.
So no Nathan Cleary, no Tom Trbojevic if they play and kill it for Manly and
It
Penrith.
ain't 2021, man.
It'd be tempting, but I think if they build momentum and Mitch plays well, you wouldn't change it, would you?
Yeah.
No.
And by the way, I
when
think
is Nathan back?
I think Tommy's more likely. Siebes mentioned that he'll be part of the 22 maybe next week.
It's going to take a monumental effort for New South Wales to win game 2, and it's going to take those players who come in massive games. Like Critter's going to play outstanding. Latrell's going to play outstanding. Moses needs to get fucking near man of the match.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
And even if for game 3, do you just chuck Cleary? If it's game over, I wouldn't even chuck Cleary and Trbojevic in either. If it's the series is done.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I
if the
know, but
series
I'm
is
saying-
done, definitely not. But if it gets to
I
a
wouldn't risk
decider,
him anywhere. I just wouldn't.
and you've got the, what do you call it? The
I reckon-
dangling fruit. Nathan
I reckon-
Cleary.
Yeah, it's tempting for Madge,
The
isn't it?
low-hanging fruit, I think they call it.
The forbidden fruit. Come
Take
play
it! Take it! Go and take it!
It's just got Nathan's head on it.
Cleary's head, Trebojevic's head. Fuck! I wouldn't honestly, because I know how important those players are going to have to be in game 2.
Okay.
If they, what if we win and they play fucking awful and Payne Haas gets man of the match? There's going to be a lot of
true.
little things that happen. Like Moses just gets through the game and we dominate. Like Latrell kills it and like our forwards dominate the middle. Fucking Robson, all these other like Connor Watson. It's not on Moses.
Yeah.
And then if Cleary comes and has a game or two and just like doesn't. Then I can have this conversation in 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Then it's interesting. I don't think Tom is even going to question it because I just think he's just needs to get through the season. I don't even think would you play if you were Tom? Would you try and cut back for the 3rd, knowing that you're fucking?
You've played Origin. I can't answer that. Like, what would it be like for you?
I don't know.
You want to play every Origin you're available for.
But I just don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think they will. I honestly don't.
Okay. All right. We'll see anyway. It might not even happen. Hypothetical. But it's
I love hypothetical.
Let us know in the questions. And also let us know what you thought of Pearcey. Pearcey, thanks for coming in and joining us, mate.
Yeah, love it, mate.
I know everyone's going to love that. That was really good insight and appreciate you, brother. Also, you're doing some stuff with Toddy on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
What are you two lunatics doing? I love it. Both you blokes don't drink anymore. He's doing some good shit, mate. I'm very proud of you boys.
Thank you,
you and TC. Like, he's come a long way in your life. And I've seen a lot of yous on the podcast talking about what happened in your careers and everything like that. Yeah. He's had both great careers. He's all had great times. We can sit back now in our older age and fucking laugh about the good times, but it's great to see you on track. Everything that you're doing off the field, on the field, it's all coming into one, so I'm proud of you, mate.
Thanks, mate. It's always had good times and
Potty?
odds too. So, the potty's going really well.
Yep.
It sort of just happened organically. Me and Toddy kind of got the opportunity at Triple M and we're enjoying the footy talk stuff and working on a few other things away from that as well.
Yep. You said you're mentoring some young halves in that as well. Like you enjoy getting that space.
Yeah, enjoying that sort of. It's sort of your duty, isn't it, to give back and help out with the younger kids, and I enjoy that. Yeah, it's good. It's just rewarding, and I enjoy seeing the younger boys grow and.
Probably more rewarding, right? Like being in the space now where you train a 15, 16-year-old kid. Watch them just develop. It's very important to have a guy like you around, especially in the Roosters and even like the whole NRL, because the young sevens, they need development. They need proper coaching, individual coaching, more so than any other position. Do you think so?
No, definitely. And I think it's all the stuff, as you can help, it's the goods, the bads, the nous that you can give back of experiences we had when you've been in their shoes. And I think when I was younger, I related to or gravitated to halves that had sort of walked the same shoes. It's all the little things. Sometimes it's not always the technical stuff. It's just conversations and dealing with different pressures, anxieties and all that sort of stuff. So, I get a lot of kick out of it. It's really rewarding. And seeing them grow is satisfying, that's for sure.
Just one quick one before we let you leave. You got a favourite young half in the game at the moment? Mace is a big fan of that Ethan Strange up at Canberra. Yep. A lot of pressure going on with Lachlan Galvin at the moment. Are there any young halves that you're looking at that you really like in the game?
Dolphins,
Katoa?
Katoa's my favourite.
Nice.
I think he's such a good player. And I think the thing with a lot of these young halves coming through, size sometimes holds them back physically. As we know, you can to get longevity, you talk about Cherry and for instance, who's still playing now 300 games in. He's got a durable big body, hasn't he?
Yeah,
and all the halves. He's not small. And I think up there at the Dolphins, he's got that body. That'll hold him through a long time. But I just love the way he plays. He's got so much time. His kicking game. Talk about manipulating defence. He's thinking his way through the field, and that's the
really
biggest
good
thing.
tempo,
He's got great tempo.
And the thing is,
he's a really good player.
He hasn't even added a running game, has he?
No.
You barely see him get tackled. Joey and I had. The eighth and I had fucking good conversation. Joey loves him. Yeah. And I said, he takes the line on, he manipulates the line, right? Yeah. But he never gets put on his back. Yeah. He got put on his back once in that second half.
Yeah. He's got a Joey body shape.
He's got that big...
played union.
I think Joey loves him. But and Joey goes, that's fucking amazing that he's not even running, because that's the last thing that happens, right? The young halves these days, they all want to run, right? Yeah. They don't dig into the line like a Katoa. That's what he sees. That's what you see. Yeah. Like the running will come, right? He goes, I'm not even worried about that. It's what he's doing right now as a young kid, second year in the game.
Yep.
He's crushing it.
Well, he's setting his game up, isn't he?
Yes,
that's what you want to see.
And I don't see that. Like I'm fucking front row, back row. You just want. Then I like a half who's got tempo like that. Yeah. Takes his time, builds halves, right?
Yeah. He's really level-headed. Levels.
Yeah, levels to.
But he doesn't look fucking flustered. He doesn't look flustered. Like he doesn't look rattled at all. He's just like, he score a try. He's like.
Yeah, he kicked it.
It's cold. His
interviews after the game have been good too.
He's cold, man.
A couple of the interviews he's had after the game, he's talking about, and sometimes people say it just as a cliche, isn't it? The coach told me to kick the corners. But the way he talks really strategic and clear and calm. And for a young half, 19, He reminds me a bit of Nathan Cleary at that same age.
Well, I was going to throw this.
Nathan
in,
had
mate.
that, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah,
he's our next 7.
When he went up to the Dolphins, they were furious that they lost him from Penrith.
Yeah.
And another thing on temperament, I remember like he kicked back-to-back 40-20s, and he doesn't even like celebrate. He just like
just a moment. It's a moment
to kick a 40-20. Yeah. He was just quickly on to the next job, like talking to his halves. People coming in trying to celebrate with him. He's like, "Get to your spots, like just chill, relax. We're about to attack."
Yeah. No, he's
highly impressive.
He is, though.
There's another good one coming through, Toby Rodwell.
Okay.
At the Roosters, Brett Rodwell's
son. Yeah.
Mate, he's a really good player, good kid. They got big hopes on him as well at the Roosters. So
long-term answer potentially with Sammy, with Kez moving on.
Yeah, if he keeps working hard, but he's got the game. He played New South Wales 18s.
Did you watch Mitch Woods come through as well? Is that both halves?
So him and Mitch Woods played in the 18s together.
Yeah,
you know probably a few about Woods, Mitch, but similar players. And
reminds me of you.
Yeah, Mitch is a really good player. Not just because you said he reminds me of me.
No, he's the greatest player of all time. It's Pearcey. He's an immortal. He's immortal status. Mitch Woods reminds me of Pearcey.
He's really good though, Mitch Woods. I watched him in the 19s the other day.
Yeah.
Tough little bloke.
I like
takes
him.
a line on.
I like him. Heard big things. Pearcey, thank you. You're going to join us for Origin 3, breaking down.
Love to, mate. Love to.
Preview 3. So thanks for joining us, mate. Pearcey. All the best with everything else, and enjoy Origin. And we'll see you before Origin 3. Eh?
Thanks, boys.
Let's not get it twisted with this man right here. If he didn't have a Blues jersey on, and if he played in a different system, he would have played 20 tests for Australia. Because Cooper Cronk and JT were so dominant over that side of the ball and that side of the border.
Successful
and everything like that. You're going to pick with the 6s and 7s and the combinations and stuff like that. But him fully stacked in a team, he would have done exactly the same as a Cooper Cronk, I reckon. Skill set wise.
Yeah, so talk to us about Pearcey, in your opinion, playing at him club level, and then obviously played with him at Origin level, but you also played with some of the greats. Was it just he was on the back end of the worst era of all time?
Yes, he was. Like, I think he was a product of that. Like, we weren't winning. It was 8 in a row when he come in. Like, we were on our, we lost 6, 7, 8, and he was already in there. So he kept talking about the scars, the mental scars. Like, he got scarred from game 1. Do you know what I mean? Losing a decider. So if he was on another side, like Maroon's side, like, I think his career, we'll be talking about Pearcey as fucking one of the greats, because as a club footballer, there was no better competitor than him. Remember playing against him? I always talk about defense as well. He could hit, and he's not just going to fucking put you to the ground. He's going to put you on your back if you don't go.
That's why Pearcey was probably picked in Origin so much, because defensively he was so stout.
He never got overawed, man.
No.
He'd put his body right in front where young halves, they'd be moving out of the way.
Yep.
So I can't give a big enough rap to him. And how he's grown as a person in the last 18 months,
so cool
what he's doing, the decisions that he's made in his life, you got to credit that.
I think our listeners are going to be frothing with that little chat.
And you watch how smart is he?
Yeah.
You sit there and he's breaking games down. He's a fucking genius.
Yeah. He's back in the day when he didn't mind a beverage or two, those sorts of chats would be kept for one-on-one D&Ms.
Yeah. Now he can actually articulate himself and get that message out there, and he's doing some really great things, mate. Him and TODD Carney, I couldn't be prouder than him.
Yeah. All right, mate, let's get into our predictions for Game 2. You do New South Wales, I'll do Queensland. Let's kick it off with our first try scorers and why.
My prediction, first of all,
okay,
it's New South Wales.
Oh, no, we'll finish, obviously. Don't give away the score.
No. That's last. Right. So what's the first question? Sorry, mate.
So we're going to build into it. So who scores first?
And then the last. Okay,
chronological order, you'd think.
First try scorer, I'm going to go with Angus Crichton. I think he's on a bit of a tear, and I think
I like it.
In a perfect world, he can get that try. I think they're going to go at DCE.
I agree.
I think they're really going to go at. I can see a world
side as well,
and I can see a world where this is why I can see it.
How's it going to play out?
DCE always rushes up, right? So he gets Luai chasing back in all the time off his left. So his job's done. Yep. Middles come in, collect, go, cover the middle. The middles are perfect at that in Origin level, right? Well, I can see a world where, just say, if like Crichton can run an outline or Dylan Edwards run an outline, it's like a little hang play. If DCE rushes up that much, and if they can execute that, that's the only thing that'll fucking make DCE not rush up. If they can pull that off in the first couple of moves.
Pull him back a bit and then it's okay.
Like just someone run out, someone hang play off Luai.
Yep.
It fucking works, right? And it'll stop. That's the only way to stop DCE covering all these bases and rushing up and pushing Luai back in the ruck.
Yeah, got you.
So if Crichton can run an outline, I'm not saying like I want Crichton to score first, but if Crichton can run that outline and Edwards on that, off Luai's hip, that'll fucking put DCE back in his place, and then Latrell will get more one-on-ones. They need to do that. Otherwise, DCE's going to shut down Luai and shut down that left side.
Okay.
He's very annoying at that, and he's fucking good.
Well, Angus Crichton is paying $19 to score first, but I think you like maybe any time just as much with $4 for Angus Crichton as well. I'm going to go Tommy Dearden, my first try scorer for Queensland. My thought process behind Tommy Dearden is he was so close in game one a couple of times. He was, always thereabouts, and it just happened to be hammer popping up. I also think Mitchy Moses is going to be so fixated on contact that he's going to want to get his shoulder into the back row. So there's going to be an opportunity for a little double pump, show, go. Now on the right side, you're going to have Liam Martin, who again is very aggressive, but can maybe they similar to your thought process. And if he doesn't play, then it's going to be maybe Olakau'atu or maybe Mitchy Barnett. Maybe Mitchy Barnett comes straight into the starting lineup.
I like Tommy Dearden.
Tommy Dearden is my first try scorer. On the tab, you can get him for $20, $21 first try scorer, $4.50 anytime. And you know what?
Jeez.
I'm going to have a little multi on that. Angus Crichton into Tommy Dearden anytime. That's going to be my multi of the game. X Factor, mate. You've gone with Connor Watson.
I think he's it. You know what I mean? We're bringing him in for that X factor, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does he bring? We don't know what the fuck he brings. A lot of energy, a lot of speed around the ruck. That's X factor. He's just an energy ball. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's going to bring that. I'm not sure how and when they're going to insert him into the game. But I hope it's the first half.
Okay.
Back ends of the half. Let Robson go out there and just go mad. Or if it's Cam Murray or Yo, and you can move Robson back or just shuffle it around and have both of them on, he just needs to go.
Plan A, I think, would be 30 minutes front load Reece Robson and then bring Connor on. But again, like Origin, anything can change. We'll see. He probably have a plan B, plan C. Connor Watson is paying $51 to get man of the match with an X Factor type performance off the bench. And it's, hey, Lindsay Collins got player of the game, I think, off the bench last year. Ruben Cotter.
Got it. I think he's got it a couple of times coming off the bench, playing 60 minutes and just dominating.
Paddy Carrigan, I felt like went close a couple of years ago off the bench. Yeah,
you got to change the game. Connor Watson can change the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's not going to ruin the game.
Yeah.
He ain't going to ruin the game. He's not going to come on and go, oh shit, what's Connor Watson doing there?
Yeah.
He's going to speed the fucking ruck up. Queensland's going to know it, and he's going to just go down your throat.
Yeah, I agree.
You got to do it.
My X factor is Jeremiah Nanai, and he's got a huge task. So everyone thinks there's this perceived weakness or Latrell's going to be targeted defensively. Like I said, I've said this many a time now in the last couple of weeks. Good luck. Good luck. It's if I'm the back row, and Jeremiah Nanai is way better than what I ever was, but he's probably going to be the player tasked if they want to build some momentum on that edge by taking some carries, working over Latrell. Yeah.
You get pumped too.
It sounds good in principle, and it sounds like a mad game plan. Whether that comes to fruition and Latrell does indeed get tired, you've also then got to, on the flip side, I think the left edge of New South Wales is going to be coming at Queensland just as much. Yeah. So I think there's going to be a battle down that edge. So give me Jeremiah Nanai at $34 to be heavily involved on both sides of the footy in this game. I think
he's a gun.
Who wins that edge, in my opinion, wins the game. So Crichton versus Nanai, Latrell versus Valentine Holmes. It is very intriguing.
Don't they understand in Origin, like, it's like the Nate Miles disease, right? He put that jersey on and he turned into someone else. I don't care how bad he was playing. He wasn't never playing bad at club football, but he could be just playing average, right?
Yep.
He comes into just Origin, solid. He gets fucking Wally Lewis medal. He walks away with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's their mentality. You get their jersey. We're picking you in this fucking culture, and it's so prestigious to play for Queensland. You're expected to dominate. Look how Nanai's played every time he's played in Origin. Yeah. He bangs. Like, he just hits so hard. He goes to another level. I don't that's what I'm saying. I don't ever bag guys like that. I don't go at any Queenslander because I know what they're capable of.
Yeah, and you don't want to give him, like you said
don't
before.
Don't go out and say Nanai's a spot or he's not a good. What?
Yeah.
Please, pumped.
Who said that? Payne Haas. I'm only kidding. All right, so your man of the match is Payne Haas. Why?
I just think he needs to arrive on this stage. He's had a fair few Origins now, and I think him of all people, he'll be filthy at game one. They had to work their asses off. His stats always say that Payne Haas is one of the best players on the field. I just need him to get that man of the match there because I know if he does get that, we win.
Yeah.
If That's what I mean. I want him to dominate. I just want him to dominate.
He was, again, a victim of what happened with he was busting his ass. And you're right. Yeah. He was your player of the match or maybe X Factor last game because you want him to have that performance. He, again, didn't get given the opportunity, but I felt like he would have been on. Like I felt like he
was on.
I was watching it from above, calling the game, and he was worked himself to a standstill.
Yeah. I think he just needs the perfect moment, and its perfect moment is Wednesday night.
All right, Payne Haas, $15. I think he was your man of the match.
See what I mean? Like he's paying that much. We expect Payne Haas to get this man the match.
Yeah, the tab expected as well, don't they?
Yeah.
They also expect the guy that only played 7 minutes of game one, and he was my man of the match in game one. And I lost a little bit of money, responsibly, of course.
$10.
$10. But I'm on Reece Walsh again, and we talked about it with Pearcey just before. What was the word? Something arrogance?
Healthy.
Healthy arrogance?
Healthy arrogance. Reece Walsh has got that in spades.
No, I don't think it's
just arrogance.
Healthy.
He just got that Queensland arrogance. Don't worry, I've seen it many times. Cam Smith's got that face.
I think he just like that.
Cam Smith owns that face.
Yeah.
Healthy arrogance.
Healthy.
Just when they win, it's just like, fuck off, mate. Go away. Him and Bill.
You can feel
Cooper Cronk.
All right, Reece Walsh is my man of the match. $6.50 at the tab. We didn't get to see the best of him in game one, but I think he'll be pumped for a big game two. All right, you've obviously on New South Wales. What's your final score line? And
I think we have to score more than 24 points.
Okay.
I just think Queensland's that good. So 28-16.
Yep, 28-16. Tab have got New South Wales 1-12 at $3.10. So if you want to follow MASE'S there, maybe you can combine little Angus Crichton into
Can you imagine if that come off as a multi?
Well, you can't get the X Factor and man of the match, but you could get I don't know if you know what I mean? Maybe there's a multi
final scorer, first try scorer, man of the match.
Scorer, Crichton.
You can't do man of the match?
I'm not too sure if you can combine all of them as a multi.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I think you can do try scorers in the man of the match, but then also not the final result. But I'm sure we'll find it at the tab. We'll maybe post it a little bit later on. My final score, I think this is going to be as close and as hard fought as Origin we've ever seen.
Fuck.
Final score 23-22.
You don't want to see a decider.
I do want to see a decider, but I'm going Queensland 23-22. Here you go. $3.40 at the tab.
Is that all?
Who do you think is going to kick the field goal?
Cherry. Fuck off.
No. Everyone thinks
Reece Walsh?
Everyone thinks Cherry's going to kick the field goal. Right to left, Reece Walsh off the left.
Righto.
He kicks the field goal. Queensland win 23-22. All right, mate. That's all the Origin stuff. We're getting ready to head down there.
Yeah,
now let's review the
Melbourne.
games for round 16. Kicking it off, the game of the round started on the first game of the round, and
it's all right,
it's a bit of a letdown, the Origin period for me, but this game was up to... It's probably one of the best Origin round games that I've seen in a minute. Skill level, tries from halfway, desperation. Jerome Hughes has it on an absolute string at the moment, Mace.
Yeah, he's killing him. He's the key. Like when you got Munster out and Harry Grant, and like he just glues that whole team together. It's still a good outfit, man. I thought Dolphins could win this game.
So did I.
And they nearly
were good.
They were good. They were pretty good. But they missed those guys like the Hammer and stuff like that. And Felice Kafusi in the middle, putting those inside pressure on the halves. Like Kafusi's job would have been get to Hughes. Yeah. Don't let him dig into the line.
True.
You know, like where the other fella, the guy on the edge there, the 11, what's his name?
Connolly Lemuelu.
Lemuelu was like, he's getting there. He's getting there because he's learning off him, but he's just not as impactful.
His strength is offense. He's a good attacking player.
Yeah, exactly. Where Felice knows his job, right? Yeah. He's going to do you get 15 touches, all that sort of stuff. He's not big on stats, but he does big moments. So they couldn't really put any pressure on Hughes.
Yeah.
You know, like he was just digging into the line whenever he wanted to. So
I've got a question for you, Storm. Blessing in disguise. If indeed they can come back, and Pappy's already back, but staying healthy is the problem. It's like a blessing in disguise. No Munster and Pappy. If you think back to the most successful Melbourne teams, they've always had like an X factor off the bench. Now, because they've missed so much footy, Munster will go back to 6. Pappy will be the fullback, and then I think there's a world in which you can have both Tyrone Wishart as your Mr. Fix-It 14 man, and then a proper X factor in Su'a Fa'alogo on the bench.
Yeah, right. Could you have that? Could you have those two?
I think you can. The way the game's playing now, mate.
Yeah, just have two big boys.
Josh King, Toiler, 80 minutes. Trent Liero can play 80 minutes. Christian Welsh can play 80 minutes if you want him to. It's not ideal, but they can play 80 minutes. You got your big body in Nous, who he hasn't even been playing really crazy good. Like he's still trying to get his feet back in. And then you got Blore and Katoa, who are 80-minute players at the moment.
He can hit.
He's nice. Blore's nice.
He can hit.
So, yeah, I think there's a world in where they just have two middles on the bench with Wishart, because Wishart can play lock.
Yeah, I like Wishart.
So then you can just say if you start Liero or Josh King, you move them up into the front row.
I just think they'll probably keep Wishart. I don't think they'll go with far longer.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Belly rolls like that. He's not just going to have two big guys. He's going to have Nelson and he will have what?
So if just say two, maybe Christian
Nelson
Welsh.
and Welsh.
Yeah.
They could get away with it, I think. But
so then your starters would be Tui, Josh King up front, Trent Liero at lock, and then you got Blore and Katoa in the edge.
You could do that. In a perfect world, you could do that, but you got to have some balls.
Yeah.
You know, like far longer. There's going to be some games from now on where Farlongo doesn't get any minutes if you're playing like a proper.
I agree.
Yeah. So he's not going to waste that time. He's going to put someone else on the bench to get more minutes.
But there's also go and look at the lineups for a lot of these teams. There's that third middle front row that plays 5 or 10 minutes every week.
I know.
So if you've got a guy like who can cover all the positions in this day and age, I think I see a world.
That could be the way the coaching goes.
Yep.
If you trust your starters,
yes,
which I do trust those starters.
Yep.
But then you got to calculate HIAs and injuries and all that sort of stuff. They're very movable, right? You got to have a very movable roster.
Yep.
And I think Melbourne does have that.
Yep.
And they've got a coach who's a forward thinker who could probably blow the game apart with stuff like this.
Ali Katoa, he's everything we expected when he went to Melbourne, right? We all thought he's going to go on and kick on. I think he's officially become a Storm player in the last maybe month or so with some real good habits. The try saver on Connolly Lemuelu right at the end from the right side to save that try all the way on the left. I think that's why
crazy.
I think that's the best of what Melbourne Storm can do to a player.
Yep.
That effort.
That one effort, that's exactly what I picked out as well. I was just like, wow, he's come from the other side to save that try on Lemuelu. I said he saved this.
That was the game. 30 to 24.
Saved the game. I was like, wow, he's done it.
Dolphins. Oh, what have I written here? Oh yeah, I'm going to go back to this now. You disagreed with me on this about a month ago, but I think maybe the way that the game's going, you talked about HIAs and all in the game. The Dolphins are the best team suited to cover outside backs. Aiken goes from the back row to the centres and a little bit of wing. But I think there's a real opportunity, or not this year, next year, having a 5-man bench. So instead of having the 18th man only activated through foul play, having an outside back potentially on the bench that can come on. So you name a 5-man bench, all of them are available to play, but you only still pick your best 4.
I think that's a good idea.
Is that a good compromise?
I don't mind that idea.
Yeah. I
just think with what's happened in this year's game, right? Like the Origin really is fucking throwing everyone out.
Yeah.
Like what do you do? What do you do? Like, fuck. You don't know what to do. You haven't got a choice.
Even at club level, once a team seems to lose a winger, for instance, and back in the day that wouldn't have been as big of a problem, but the teams are so good at breaking it down now that once you lose that player, like I said, Dolphins did okay, but I think about the Dragons who were awful. Remember when Isaac moved out to defence centres, where the Penrith Panthers played Parramatta and Broncos back-to-back and just absolutely tore shreds on them on that edge. I think there's a world in which we can have your normal 4-man bench, however you perceive to be your 4-man bench, but having an outside back
just on standby.
Just on standby, and if an outside back goes down early in the game, it's a straight swap, and don't have a back rower or a middle playing centre.
And if the game is like very aware of how many like views it's getting when it's like a proper game, really good game, and then they go for 12 and people just switching off all the, fuck, I'm done with this game. It's 12 players. You know what I mean?
Especially when they run up a score early.
It really, it's not really good for the game, right? So you want an even contest for 80 minutes, and that's probably the fairest way to do it, right? Yep. I think it's a great idea.
Yep.
Especially when you're getting pumped. It's like, 12 players. Oh, fuck, it's ruined the game. A lot of people gamble on the game, responsibly, of course.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But there's a lot of shit riding on these games. So when it becomes 12 or 11 players through bad play or injury or something like that, it's like a fucking waste of time. Be a monumental effort if that other team wins.
Yeah.
Even the first Origin, I'm like,
deflated.
Tomorrow's paper could be the greatest New South Wales win of all time. Or it is what it is.
It is what it is, and it was what it was.
Yeah.
How about the Dolphins, mate? So, again, I thought they were great in this, despite missing a number of players. So, I feel like if Flegler and Gilbert were in this team, they would be genuine title contenders. Here's a stat. So off the back of Jeremy Marshall-King re-signing at the start of last week or maybe the week before, they've got Hammer locked into 2027, Isaiah Katoa, who Pearce loves, locked into 2028, Jeremy Marshall-King 2028, Herbie 2026, Max Plath 2027, little up-and-coming Ruben Cotter, Tom Gilbert and Flegler, if Flegler can get back on the field, 28 and 27 respectfully. Jeez. That is a great core to build on for the Dolphins.
Yeah, it is.
Post Wayne Bennett.
And if they had Gilbert and Flegler, yeah, exactly right now, no one's fucking with him. The middles are doing a great job. That half is a talent, man. That could tell. I hope to God he says he wants to play for New South Wales.
Yeah.
I heard there's a little bit of conjecture around that.
Ooh, okay.
Like New Zealand's trying to grab him because he's New Zealand descent or something like that, because his parents might be born in New Zealand.
He was born in New Zealand.
Or he's born in New Zealand. Yeah. How old was he when he come over? Is there going to be a lot of that shit?
I think he's old enough because he come over at a time. So it's a genuine tug of war.
Yeah. Where his heart lies, right?
So Tonga, good. Tonga is sweet.
If he wants to play Origin, he's going to say he's Tongan.
So he can still play
two.
Yeah, he can still play Tonga and play
If he says New Zealand, goodbye to Origin. He doesn't want to play. Just depends. This whole decision will
huge decision.
Yeah, this will come off how much he wants to play Origin. If he's looking at Origin now, going, I want that, or he's like, I'll just play.
All right, so
I'll just play club football.
Put yourself. This is good. This is a really good hypothetical. You are Madge Maguire. I am. Who's coaching now? Stacey Jones.
Putting him at 20th, man. See where his heart lies right now. Come into camp, son.
Yeah, so that would have been a tough one, right? So Madge in front of him, potentially at New South Wales, you have Nath if fully fit. You'd say maybe Mitch is the favourite. Jerome's also in calculations. Nicho has had a crack. Whether he's completely done or not, that's another question. And you've got Galvin and Strange maybe potentially coming through the grades as well. That could have shown potential. Don't get me, they're not locked, but
give me another couple of years.
If I look at the Kiwis, Jerome Hughes is 28, 29. Dill Brown is 24, 25. Fozzie and Shawnee Johnson are probably 1 year away from being done. What's the most likely path for him to play more tests or more Origins? Kiwis.
Yeah, but as I say, I don't know the kid. I don't know where his heart lies. I don't know how he looks at Origin. If he looks at Origin the way I look at Origin, or the way that a Jonathan Thurston looks at Origin, or Nathan Cleary, if his heart's not in it, he's going to play for New Zealand. Depends how close he is, with his ties with New Zealand. How old was he when he come over here? It's all fucking very important questions.
Yeah, they are. I'd say
if he was 4 or 5, like I was 4 or 5.
I think it's closer to teens. I think it's a lot
hard,
closer
bro.
to teens.
That'd be hard. I think he'd be playing for New Zealand, man.
Yeah. All right,
well, he should anyway. He should.
Yeah, I think he should.
Just depends where his heart lies. If he looks at, as I said, if he looks at Origin like the guys, like Andrew Johns did, then you ring him up, Joey.
I'll tell you what. If you got a call from a guy like Joey,
you fucking need to.
That'd be hard to turn down, Uncle Stace. The Titans 66 defeat the Wars. They're back to the Warriors, mate. Defeat the Warriors 6. No team has ever lost by 50 and won the competition. So, Warriors, have you officially hit rock bottom?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to make the 8. I honestly don't. I looked at that and just went, there was a stat early on in the year, they were saying when the Warriors had a really gun season, the next year, how many times have not made the 8?
Okay.
2003, perfect example. I remember playing them. They beat us in a semi-final. They had a killer team. Fucking Henry Farfili and all these blokes, like Ali Lauatiti carved us, right? Clinton Torpy carved us. They got to the prelim that year in 2003 and then didn't make the finals in 2004.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they went to grand final 2002, 2003 gun.
Dropped off not even in the 8.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like history's repeating itself a little bit.
And they still had a good young core.
Yeah, they had a great team.
Didn't they?
A gun team. So I'm not sure people probably
what happened after 11 when they went to the grand final? Probably be similar.
Sure.
If
it's going to be similar. So all those stats are like that. So it looks like it's happening, right? I look at stats with like Fanua Blake, right? He had 71 run meters and he loves his stats. He's a 200 meter plus meter eater. I don't think one of their forwards got over 100 meters.
They didn't have any ball, mate. They were just tackling the entire time. And Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a great indication.
Yeah, it's
isn't it? For Fanua Blake to have 70?
Yeah, Fanua Blake. And he was, he usually gets about 20 touches. Even regardless, even if he gets 10 or 12 touches, he gets about 150 metres.
So 54% to 46, they had the ball.
So that's not crazy. That's not. If you said they had the ball for 62%, then I can believe those stats.
Yeah.
When you got 46% of the ball, I still expect some big numbers.
That's fair enough.
Especially from some of their big dogs, mate.
Remember that stat I told you about Siebes? 85% of the time you win it's metres per carry.
Yeah.
So Titans had 194 runs for 2,151 metres. So they're basically making, I'd say, roughly 11 to 12 metres per carry. And the Wars had 1,400 metres off 176 carries. So, again, it's like a 12 metres to a 7 metres per carry. And that's why it looked. That's why it felt. I just checked that then.
It's you can never accept the defeat in someone over their 40s, 50s, but 66 points from the Titans. Do you know what I'm saying? When you look at the Warriors, how all their stats just should not equivalent to this.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what I mean? The commentators were saying all the stats, how good the Warriors are in all these stats, defensively and all this sort of shit. I'm like, fucking hell, that does not mean shit. Analytics, throw it in the bin with this team.
You got to turn up.
Because you have a look at everything that the Warriors are, you're going, that's a top 4 team.
Yeah.
Well, not what I'm seeing now, and it looks like everyone's just sort of tapped out.
All right, let's go to the Titans first. We always like to start with the winning teams. Where are they at under the Desi regime for you right now? Disappointing loss last week against the Tigers. Bounce back. There's going to be some moving parts for sure. What's your half-yearly mark for the Titans under Desi, do you think? Do you think he's building something there?
Awful start, wasn't it, right?
Yeah. 9 in a row. I think they lost 8 in a row.
Yeah, and then to start the season. The rumours for Fafita wanting to leave, end up getting him back, losing Tino. Not a good start to the year. But the last 6 weeks, probably 3-3 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
You can deal with that, I think, if you're Des.
Starting to show some signs. I guess.
Especially have a look who's out. Right?
Yeah. No Brimson, no Tino, and that's enough.
They're a big deal, right? That's your best back.
Big Mo didn't play in this game.
I don't think Mo played, but that's your best back and your best forward out. You're like, fuck, what do you do? Right? Tino's their man. Brimo's their man out the back. I don't care what position he is. He's been there the longest. He's the OG in that team. He's the most senior player there, him and Fozzie. So, yeah, it's a hard one because the shit that they tossed up last week, fuck,
is yuck.
And then I was just thinking mentally, Warriors, they tossed up some shit as well. So I'm thinking Warriors away from home, all that kind of stuff. They should get the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Titans just look a lot more mentally stronger, right?
You talked about Brimo. I think he tweeted out after the game, looks like I'm playing centres next week because he's apparently supposed to be back. Foz and Jaden Campbell were the ultimate yin and yang. Is this the combination for the rest of 2024? Do you think Jaden Campbell can be long-term halves like his old man? His old man shift around and play fullback and halves and hooker at times.
I know he played well, but I don't think it's because of him. I don't think he's a 6.
You need to see more. Do you need to see more of it?
I need to see a better game than this Warriors performance, right? Come up against some good defense or a team that's having a crack. Right, if he can do this against the Roosters outfit, it's always a good test. Panthers outfit.
I'll see who they've got coming up.
Then I can sit here and go, he's the next 6, but not when you're playing against a Warriors team who dished up that shit.
All right, they won't get a chance because they're playing the bye next week. So
but even the next couple of weeks, we're going to look forward to it, right? They're fresh off the bye. Campbell comes in at 6.
Sharkies.
There's a good test for you.
That's a great test.
They got one of the best defensive systems in the game. If you can carve Fitzy's defensive system up, then you're going all right. But until then, I still think Campbell's a 1, right? You're just in a really bad position up there because I think Brimson's a better 1.
What about Keanu Kinney?
And Keanu Kinney just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
He ran for 249 metres. Hey, again, similar to Kalama Matangi with only 34 kick return metres. So it's not like Dylan Edwards.
He's a gun.
It's not like Dylan Edwards running for 129
No. He's a gun. I watched him very closely. I watched this game. I'm like, what is happening? They're in the worst predicament. They've got 3 of the best ones in the game at the moment.
So good.
And it's like, they're like, give me some fucking front rowers. Give me a Tino or give me...
They need centres. They need someone to lock in that. And if Brimo can play, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Fuck, Brimo just needs to be back. They're better with him in the team.
Yeah. All right, go quickly back to the OG. So here's another stat. This is what a stat I got for you too. Only 4 players in the team had over 100 metres. Again, that's crazy in this day and age when you feel like half the team runs. I feel like the entire backline for most teams run over 100 metres these days.
What do you think, right? Like
for the Warriors,
is this? Yeah, is this? Oh, it was just a game that we fucked up.
No,
it ain't it. I think that's not. It's more than that. It's more than just that fucking defeat. It's the way they got beat, man.
You'll know this as well. And I've got this question for you. In hindsight, it was hard to back up what they did last year. When you're winning, you wear injuries with pride. When you're losing and getting a little bit older, it becomes a reason you're not winning.
So look at SJ right now, right? Last year, arguably one of his best seasons of all time.
I agree with
Coincided with Fanua Blake, prop of the year.
Yep.
Dallin Watini-Selesniak, winger of the year.
Yep.
About five or six, seven, Egan, Klokstad, Mitch Barnett, all fucking career best years, right? That's what it coincides. Now they're having average years, right? So this is what happens. Everyone's just playing like that. And where SJ elevated his game, no one else has elevated their game. You know what I mean? SJ's fucking 33, 34 years old. I'm not sure what you expect from him. He ain't going to be digging into the line and moving like he used to. That's why he was very apprehensive in the preseason going, I'm not sure if I want to play this year. Because he fucking knew all the moving pieces that was happening right now. Everyone's having career best years. This is like his 14th, 15th year in the game. He understands. When everyone has great years, a 7 has a great year, right? So he's just orchestrating everything like that. Everyone has a down year like they are now. He's going to cop the heat. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what it looks like. That's what's happening right now. No one's having their best year. And the Warriors are really crumbling right now. And I'm not sure if SJ's going to bring him out. I don't think he is. What do you do? A hamstring on the weekend? His body is, I always say, best ability is availability. Hasn't been available all year. And when he has been, he's been playing busted.
He's been struggling to get reps in. Do you think Shawnee plays in 2025?
I don't think he plays in 2025. No way. Is he contracted for 2025?
No, he's not. Apparently, he was offered a contract at the start of the year.
That's what I'm saying.
And
he's made a really selfless decision there because he understands his body. You know, like you're not going to expose yourself to the NRL where everyone's just trying to get at you every single game, spot you up defensively, get at you inside shoulders, inside hips, try and crush you all the time.
Especially if they know you're injured.
He's fucking been around the block, man. He's been in the game for so long. He's played so many games. They know he's on fucking one leg. And it's the last little drive. It's just his last little bit of his career, which is fucked. But you can't always go and choose your way how you want to finish, right?
For sure. Would have been nice to sort of...
Yeah, man. Like because he knew what was happening last year. That's why he was going... I don't think I can fucking do this another year. Like everyone's going, come on, we're going to unfinished business, all that sort of shit. Yeah, I need you fuckers to play your best year again. That's how hard it is. And that's what comes with greatness is year after year after year. Not 1 year on, 1 year off, 2 off. Contract year, bang again. You know what I mean? Be consistent with your shit.
Last dance, baby. All right, Roosters 26 defeat the Bulldogs 8. Tough conditions for both teams, but... Little Sammy Walker, he is probably the inform half outside of Jerome Hughes. I don't even say even over Cherry, who's had because Cherry had a really good Origin game, he has been that hot, accentuates him even more so, which is understandable. So I reckon arguably Sammy Walker has been the best club footy player just behind Jerome Hughes in the last month or two.
So, give it 6-8 weeks. He's been carving since that St George game. Since Anzac Day he's been playing. But
it was off the back of their OGs in my opinion. Jared Warrior-Hargraves and Teddy, they set the tone in those conditions. And you talked about it just before with SJ. I writ down, that's how you play with longevity in this game. Turning up in those conditions when not everyone wants to play in them.
Yep. J-Dub, man.
Set the tone.
Setting tone still at 35,
taking
bro.
licks.
Fucking taking. Oh, it's hard to put your finger on it. Like J-Dub ain't done yet. He knows this is the last dance for these guys. They all know that, and that's why they get up for games like this, right? There's always a hatred game, rivalry game with the Bulldogs. Bulldogs got them last time. Pulled their pants down, fucking hammered them, right?
Condition suit too. It brings everyone into his game.
Yeah.
Everything's short. Yeah. It's short passes. No one wants to pass. It's not off the back fence, but straight through the middle.
You can fucking hone your targeting, right? And he did that a couple of times because the footwork's not going to be there. You're worried about just catching the ball. His line speed's still good enough where he can get you on collision. And, and our young bucks had to stand up to that. Sam Hughes and Max King, I thought they played all right. They played good. They just, J-Dub was just a little bit ahead of him. And Terrell May was outstanding too with his stats. He just didn't stop. Fucking 80 minutes. Ridiculous.
80 are the best.
Oh, my God. In the middle. I don't give a shit what you do. You know what I mean? But he didn't. It's not like he didn't do anything. His stats are ridiculous.
It's for us, I would let people know, like as a forwards, I'd much prefer playing in the middle because the game slows down a little bit and we get the ball a little bit more. But 80 minutes in this day and age is still massive for a front
And it ain't
row.
slow in the middle.
Nah.
Not when you're fucking like, not in today's game.
Nah.
Right? With the 6 agains and shit. You're just on there just with your head on the swivel. But
And the Bulldogs pack move you around consistently.
Yeah, man, that team moves you.
Yeah.
Like you're constantly moving. Without hitting, you're moving, right? You're trying to get like about 120, 140 meters in their legs every time, every set. If you don't even make a tackle, that is. Yeah, it was an awful game. We were in it, right? We were fighting, but just crucial mistakes, key parts of the game, right?
Yep.
And they really capitalised on every mistake we made, right? How many times does that happen? Not that much. Not as crucial as that was, especially in that wet weather when I think Skelton dropped the ball and Curran dropped the ball.
Yep.
Like try.
Yes.
Like it really just
Skelton
fucking
straight after.
Yeah, it's like that's devastating, right?
40-20
little
kicks, from Cheese.
deflections off 2 or 3 people, and then Terrell May just dives on the ball. That's deflating.
Yeah,
little tries like that shit you. But like
the skill from Terrell May to pick that ball up in the wet for a front row after playing 60 minutes at that point, or maybe
kick from Walker as well. Like his little short kicking game was outstanding.
So good.
Teddy was great. CLEARY was great. They were good. They were good. They're going to be hard to beat, man. That's why I backed them to win the comp.
What do you think about Cheese? Where's he at? What do you think of that bounce back game?
I think he just needs to play football and stop all the other noise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's come out and said his bit. Fucking now just play football. That's all you can do from him. Like, he's a big personality and, the Roosters have taken care of that. He said his piece. That's the beauty of today's social media sort of outlet where you can control the narrative. He has, and he's said his piece. Now just play footy.
Yep, I thought it was good. What about Skelton's hit on Ponga? That was George Taufua, and I don't say that lightly.
Fucking easy.
And then off the back of it, Junior Ponga took it out on poor Connor Tracy.
Yeah.
That was bad hit.
That was bad. I think he's going to be on the sideline for a while.
Well, I think he's getting the Joseph Swaliti treatment. It was 5.
6.
It was 5 with an early guilty plea of 4, and I think he took the 4. So that one was even a little bit worse. I didn't think
worse.
I was watching it, but I mustn't have been watching it closely enough. And then we had a chat about it on radio.
It was bad, man.
And then I seen it again this morning.
No, it was
Awful
bad.
hit.
It was cheap.
Pardon, mate?
It was
Joey
cheap.
blew
It
up
was
as
cheap.
well,
It was cheap, and it was unnecessary. Like I don't think that's in Punga's game, but he must have looked frustrated because I think the game was over by the time we were playing that play.
Yeah, it was like last 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, "What are you doing, son?" It was just didn't need it. You know what I mean? You got to get your targets right. Like he's slipping around. He just had his hand cocked, and you're going to wear it now 4 weeks.
Yep. So when I was watching the game, I was like, this ain't it. Matty Burton was playing left centre. Hutchinson was at 6. After the game,
Phil's off.
Pardon?
Phil's off with Bronson being out.
Yeah.
Putting Hutch at 6 and BURROW moving out a little bit. Like the combinations was just a little bit off, right?
For sure.
The timing with Burton and kick out was like impeccable, right?
Yeah.
Kicks is coming back after 4 weeks. It was just off a little bit.
I didn't like it, and I was critical of it watching the game. I ended up seeing Ciro talk about it after the game, so I understand why they did it. Still not a fan. I wouldn't have done it, but he talked about the maturity of Matty Burton coming up to him and going, they lost Bronze, who was 50-50 to play, and he said, for the betterment of the team, it might be better for me to mark Joey Manu and put Hutch in. So it's great signs for what they're building. Yeah, the result didn't go their way, but I like the thought process of it still. And the maturity of Matty Burton, who you could argue would be disappointed that he wasn't playing Origin. And instead of playing his best position was team first and goes, move me to the centres, I'll mark Joey Manu. And we'll see if Hutch can get the job.
It says a lot.
Does,
right?
Like
26-8, we could have scored a couple of tries here and there. 26-16, 18 would have been a lot better if we had scored a couple of tries when they had 11 men.
I feel like this is the proper reflection, though. I thought Roosters were clearly the better team.
The Roosters they're pretty good. They're a good side, man.
Yeah.
They're a very good side.
Yeah, look, I've been critical of them, and I still will until I see them beat the Storm and the Panthers. But they're the scariest team, fully fit for sure, and I think they're even scarier with Teddy not playing this Origin series. I think it's going to be a revenge tour for Teddy at the back end of the season, and he's going to be way fresher than he's ever been. So it makes the Roosters even more scarier. All right, the Rabbitohs 14 defeat the Sea Eagles 0. This was the lowest game ever, despite having my BC dog of the week out of it. This game for me represented why Origin has to be a standalone series in the middle part of the year. Like, I feel sorry for the fans, the viewers. Like, I have to watch this game. One, because I'm a ex-Manly legend and great, so I watch every Manly game. But for this show, it was so tough watching this. And like I said, being an ex-Manly legend and great, I might have even played if I reached out to Stevens and asked him if I could get a position for fucking Manly on the weekend. They had half a dozen New South Wales Cup players there. Souths weren't fully fit themselves and have been banged up all year. It was a low game. There was 10,000 people. It was at a call. Congrats to Souths. But
they still had better players. Like Kalamatangi is probably the best forward on the field.
Yes.
Kepi's been going all right. Mawali's been going good. You know, like Cody Walker.
And Jack
just
White.
Run it. Jack White. And they're fucking vets, man. Like they were just a little bit better. And that's why they just won 14-0. They'll be more happy with the nil,
For sure.
the Rabbits. You know what I mean? The for and against. Might go on for and against down there.
Yeah.
For that top 8 spot that they're trying to
True,
get.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, now I'll throw you this out. So the Souths now have a bye, rest up, relax, get Big Trell Matt back, get Cam Murray back.
Yeah.
Then they got the EELS, winnable.
Yes.
The Dolphins, the next round with no Origin players. So no Trell, no Cam Murray if things go well, Origin 2, but therefore no Hammer for the Dolphins. And then they got the Tigers and Raiders after Origin 3.
This is a team that's going to go on a run. It's happening in front of us.
Then they've got a really
We're
hard...
just not paying it any attention.
They've got a hard last 3 or 4.
Yeah, but
still,
they
that's
could
a nice
be all
little,
set up for those games,
a nice
right?
schedule.
They could be 8 from 9, you know, and then you're talking. They're going to be. What are they tapping on the top 8 now? Aren't they? They're going, hey, we're coming. Everyone else keeps declining.
You start going like this.
You're going fucking hell.
If you're on
They're
the top
on one,
if you're on the top 4, you're like Momentum, Latrell, Cody,
because
Jack
only a couple
White,
of teams that could go on that.
Cam Murray, Kalamatangi, Damien Cook. You're like,
Cookie.
Fuck, I hope this team doesn't get in the 8.
Hope it doesn't catch fire. You're looking at that team, and you're looking at Parramatta like that as well. But it seems that fire's going out a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Being last, looking at the paper today and going, you're fucking dead last mentally.
Yep. What about Manly's right edge? Carl Lawton at back row. Tommy Talau played 6. Aaron Schopp as a centre, but he's new to the club. And Nathan Brown was co-captain. That, again, no disrespect to those guys. Tommy Talau, good outside back centre wing. Shoppy's been around now for a minute and will be okay, but he's only been at the club for 2 weeks. Carl Lawton, I love him as the Mr. Versatile. I don't love him as a starting back row and 80-minute back rower. And Brownie, he didn't have a club but fucking in December last year. Well deserved. He was the best player on the field for him.
I can only compare Tommy Talau at 6 to putting Willie Talau at 6 in 2002. Not fucking happening. So I fucking feel you, Manly. I feel you.
All right, the last game was the Tigers 48 defeating the Raiders 24. Benji's Tigers go back-to-back after losing 9 straight. Last week's wasn't convincing, but sometimes that's just what you need, Mace, and then you can put in a performance like this. And I was worried about the Tigers at halftime because everything was going there.
Too good.
Actually, they could have been winning by 30 when they were only up 12-0, and I thought, this could be deflating for the young team.
Yeah, because of the 3 held ups.
3 held ups.
Jeez, that was good. Do you reckon it took that? Sorry, do you reckon it took that out of the Raiders? Like holding up 3, thinking you're going to get back in, and then 5 tries.
Like, was it Sione Fanu? He gets held up, then he gets one, like blasts him straight through the middle. They were easily the best team. They deserved this win.
Yeah.
Like I said, last week was scratchy and ugly, but this week was good.
Good football, man.
Your BSC dog of the week was Adam Dewey, which we talked about. So if you're going to do the Tigers preview, I had some notes for it, and Mace covered it with his dog of the week. But he was really good for Lachlan Galvin, who was really good after all the news. A heavy, big week for him. He has a week off. He sees his teammates and he sees his club going and put together a performance, specifically Stefano.
And Stefano.
To Ikamanu last week. And Steph was good, but Lachie Galvin was really good.
But guess who orchestrated that whole thing? You got him at 3 points. Appy Coruscant.
Yeah.
He was hard for me to go past the dog of the week, but I just had to give it to Dewey because of the 3 ACLs. But he killed it, Appy. Yeah. He was everywhere. His deception around the ruck can only compare it to Danny Badiris.
Yeah,
the way that he fucking shows the ball, the wrist action that he has around the ruck. And Danny Badiris was fucking one of the best at that. Looking this way, playing, knowing he's going to play that way, knowing the numbers and who's in front of him.
Isolating defenders.
Isolating players. Stefano knew where he was going. He just has to stay right there. You've got to leave the timing up to looking that way and then coming back, you're full tilt on that other side. Get the timing right off Appy and good things will come. You got to.
Benji will be judged Whether Benji succeeds, in my opinion, as a Tigers coach, will be determined by if he's able to somehow persuade Stefano and Lachlan to change their minds. And
then it shows me what that fucking club's about, and how they look at Benji. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Is going to come off where they sign next year.
For sure.
If they go, that is not a good look.
Yeah,
for Benji as a coach, because you stay mainly because of the coach. Mainly because of the coaching.
I think it's definitely a big part.
As a young kid, you're like, oh, where am I going to go? I'm going to go to...
I think it'll be a big part, right? If you look at an unproven guy like Benji, for sure, Robbo, Ivan, fucking Uncle Wayne come knocking, of course you're going to prioritise them over them. But all the shit that's just been around the Tigers, Benji is trying to fix. Now he's putting little Band-Aids over them, right? And he's going about it a different way. But I think if he can somehow convince Stefano and Lachlan to change their mind, buy into what they're going to. They've got Jerome and I keep going back to this, Taruva coming next year. Those are good club guys. Re-sign Dewey. I love these Lili brothers. Apologies if I'm pronouncing their name.
Too.
The Fainu brothers as well. Latu's missing some time. Ruben Porter, I like him. Yeah. He's a nice looking back row.
Brothers coming through, man. They've got some.
They just need to sprinkle in a few more vets that can get them through this hump.
Bit of hope too, right?
Bit of hope.
Start pumping teams like Canberra.
Because there's a good young core out there. They've just got Benji's on. He'll be determined whether he's a good coach or not, with whether he can manage to keep this young core and build with them.
It'll predicate on how they go this year, and how they end the year.
That's true. Yeah,
like just see what they got. They're just holding out now because they're not signing doesn't mean they're not going to sign, right? They're just trying to get more this.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah, it's part of it. Like they just don't feel like they're going to sign right now.
Well, it looks like Stefano is really weighing up like what's been happening at the club because he's been offered this and still going at the moment.
Yeah,
so maybe Stefano's like Stefano could be gone and this could be a waste of time.
Maybe it's more than coaching, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's the place, right? I'm just thinking, there's a lot of factors coming into this whole thing for you not to sign as a young kid coming through the system and Galvin coming through the system and you're like, oh, why would I want to sign here? Knowing that Luai's coming and you got which we should be trending upwards.
Yeah. Some good vets coming in.
Really good vets and good players, and you got a really good core system there, a fresh young coach and a new system and a new fucking academy out there. And
good, strong CEO.
You got everything.
Richo's been around.
This is on the surface what we're looking at, right? This is the surface. You got this fucking centre of excellence, which is great.
Redevelopment at Leichhardt.
Blah, blah, blah. All that shit's going good.
Yep.
But two of your young kids want to leave. So what the fuck is happening?
Got to fix that.
That's got to be fixed. So for them to go forward, I need to know that.
Raiders, similar to the Warriors, they lost every single battle.
What's happening?
Every single battle. They're just a little bit rudderless. Strange and Weeks are going to have their moments. They're going to be good. They're still really young. They've got a couple of OGs similar to the Warriors that have, when things don't go wrong, when things don't go right, those little hammy strains, the sore shoulder that you got, that every player's got, when you have momentum and you lose momentum, it gets sorer, you get more fatigued.
They're still tough, but Canberra, they fucking end up fighting back from this, and that says a lot about the coaching and the culture there, right? They don't even throw the fucking towel in at all. They fight to the death there, and that's what you got to understand with that Raiders team. They're a bunch of dogs down there.
Yeah,
hard, tough, hard. They got some football in them, man, the Tigers. They get that shit going.
They played like they were playing in a grand final with the energy that they had. So
fucking great. That young kid energy, right?
I love it.
Fucking.
And Benji mentioned that.
It's awful.
Like Benji, they don't wear the scars that some of the older players have worn that have been there for long enough. So they can go in there with confidence of winning at the lower grades. Now they've got to sustain that, and that's going to be the hard part. But we'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens in Origin 2. We'll
see you in Melbourne, people.
See you at the Olympic Hotel.
Look out.
And we are going to be recording our Origin review straight after the game. So you're going to come and see us on Wednesday night. Lukey's going to get it up ASAP. We're going to go back to the hotel. We've got the function room back at the hotel.
Sick.
And we're going to dissect it straight away.
All right.
All right. See you on Wednesday night.